Good evening. Welcome to Gen Con TV. This is Actoroke, set in the world of Chaldea. I'm your host and Dungeon Master, Peter Atkinson. We stream on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Sometimes it's me running this campaign. Sometimes it's Mike Boozer running another campaign. I run in Burning Wheel. He runs in Dungeons and Dragons. And sometimes it's Marcus producing Table Takes Plays. This also happens on Actoroke. Yes, that's right. So tonight, we have with us Tanel Lovett as our resident illustrator, who will be doing live drawings of things that we're doing, which is an amazing challenge because I have no idea what's going to happen usually, and therefore, how can I explain to her? But somehow she pulls it off. I am joined tonight by two of the 9 players who are in this campaign, who will now introduce themselves, starting with you.
Hi, I'm Ray, and I will be playing Danica Yukos, the Consul of Revenues. She is she/her, as I am she/her. You can find me pretty much only on Gen Con TV, so enjoy.
And I am trying not to sneeze right now. Hi, my name is Marcus. I am playing Actoroke, Summation Man. I am the Imperial Consul of Commerce, and I am really excited to be back in Burning Saratof.
And you prefer to be called Oli.
Oli, yeah.
Yeah, but nobody does.
Nobody does.
Because it's too informal.
It's too informal, but I still insist as best as I can.
That's great. Let's talk briefly about safety. In my games, there will be no sexual assault or violence against children. If an NPC hates you, it won't be because of your skin color, your sexual orientation, or your gender identity. It'll just because they're assholes and they just hate you. That's all.
I suck.
Yeah, it's going to be for any variety. There will be NPCs that hate you. It's just going to be for other reasons. If a topic comes up that you're not comfortable with, let me know by using the X card, crossing your arms, or calling out to me in some way. If it seems easy to correct, we'll do so in the moment and move on. If it seems complex, we'll take a break. We can address problematic topics, typically with either lines or veils. Lines are topics that we do not want in our story at all, like the aforementioned. Veils are topics that can come up, but we don't want to get into all the details of the sexual encounter or whatever. Like, okay, let's just cut to the beach, waves are crashing, move on. Do you feel like you understand these tools?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
You feel like they are sufficient?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
If something comes up that you didn't anticipate bothering you, just let me know.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. Well, we are going to start with a little bit of a remind our audience and each other who our characters are, and I kind of want to let's lead that into beliefs. So we have in Burning Wheel, which is the game system that we are playing tonight. Burning Wheel is very much about what are your characters' beliefs, and I like this a lot. It's my favorite thing about Burning Wheel. The main reason I like it is because I'm a very lazy dungeon master, and if you tell me your beliefs, it kind of gives me something to write a script from. So, so let's start with you, Ray. What are Danica's beliefs these days?
Danica's beliefs, she's managed to resolve at least one where she was trying to get more safety and power, essentially, both in alliance with Zune, which she's more or less established. However, she's got 2 other beliefs that she's working through right now. The main one is, currently, is eliminate true believers. She thinks that they shouldn't be around, they're destabilizing, and fanatics don't do systems any good, is her belief.
True belief, like religious believers?
True believers of any kind.
You want to wipe out the church's set?
Doesn't really matter if it's religion or anything like that. If you are a true zealotous believer of anything, there's something wrong with you, and I don't want to be around it. Secondarily to that, she believes that she needs to gather more money and power within this system because the power comes from the money, so we're going to try to control it.
Okay. Okay, so I'm not going to put you too much on the spot right now, but I'm going to encourage you to be thinking about how we can make these beliefs a bit more concrete. Like these are eliminating true believers. That's like an ideology.
Yeah. There are a couple of characters specifically that she would like to remove their power structures. There's a couple of heads of the church that are consolidating power. I would like to make moves to remove power from them whenever possible. When it comes to the money side of it, the way that I'm going to angle is to take the money. It's primarily been in the hands of the dwarves for a long time.
Yeah.
In the new structure, I would like it to be under us and never under them again. That is the move that I'm going to try to make.
Bold move.
Okay.
They lost all the money. I feel like this is fair.
So wipe out the Setites and take the money from the dwarves.
Yes.
Simple.
Okay, great. Okay, excellent.
Okay.
I'm going to push just a little bit harder. Okay, so you're talking about people in the Church of Set. Are you talking about Holsan, the head of the Church of Set? Are you talking about Lexi's character?
Lexi's character. Lexi's character made a couple of moves that she did not really like.
Okay, so Farina must be contained or something like
Yeah,
that.
I would like Farina to be contained. Halson is a kind of a known variable. She is not, and
Yeah.
she is a true believer.
Great. Okay. It's funny because normally I am not at all somebody who likes PvP, but it works well in this situation. For some reason, I've just thrown all that out.
Look, if anyone else, another NPC arises is more crazy than that character, then I will go for them. But it's just about who has a big blinking target on.
Okay, let's see. Note to self.
Make a
Be
careful
careful about putting Ray and Lexi in the same game. Okay. And then, okay, so, and then the other one is you want to transfer more of the economic power away from the dwarves.
Yeah.
I can give you an idea that might fit into that right now.
Okay.
There are two dwarves on the Council of Consuls, which is Grantal Geldzon and Garl Steadfast. Garl just had a heart attack and died.
Yes.
So you could oppose the idea of some other dwarf from his clan just like slipping into that consul position.
Okay.
You know, that's just an idea.
Okay.
So maybe get them off the council. That's an idea. Less control over the
that's
money.
going to be a voted position. You're not allowed to just roll your person in there or whatever.
Yeah, the problem is that there's not really voting on the council. That the way it's been operated in the past is that, well, Emperor Cordava ran the crown. He's the emperor. There was no voting. He was the emperor, right?
You're just like, who are you cool with? Who do you like?
People came together, experts in their fields, which is how you got onto it. You two are leading experts in tax collection and commerce, which we're going to get to you in a minute. And people would debate, express their concerns, and then he would make decisions. I mean, it's more like a staff meeting than anything else. Okay. And Tihomir, who is now, Tihomir is the chair of the Senate, which is a larger body. The Council of Consuls is a subset of. And he fills in for the emperor when the emperor isn't here. Well, the emperor's dead. And so what's happened is that Tihomir has basically been in charge of the council and for the last 3 weeks since Cordava died. And that's the situation. So there's no voting. There's lobbying. There's people arguing for and against, whatever like that.
Speaking colloquially, I'm going to try to just prevent them.
Yeah, to have sway on this decision. In other words, to prevent some, to influence what positions the dwarves have on the council, you're going to need to convince Tihomir. Okay. So just giving you, so you could do something like, maybe this belief is, convince Tihomir, not that somebody else. And there's also the question of who is head of the central bank.
Yeah.
Well, that guy just died. It's like,
there's several open positions.
So, the council position is the head of the central bank. There's a more flowery title for it, but and by the way, Grantal, the other dwarf, is the imperial treasurer. So Garl is the imperial consul of the central bank. So running the central bank and being on the Council of Consuls are one and the same thing, right? And so you could try to convince Tihomir that someone else should run the central bank, someone that's not a dwarf. Okay, so I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but
No,
would
that's
you
a
like
solid,
would you like to make that, because
Yes.
I need to get you down to something really concrete
Yeah,
so
no,
that we
that's
know
perfect.
when you've accomplished it.
That's perfect. I'll do that.
Okay, so convince Tihomir or someone else should be head of the central bank. Be consul, let's say. Oh,
Yes.
consul of the central bank. And since you resolved your your other belief, you get to come up with a new one. I'm not, you don't have to do it right this second, but if something hits you in the middle of the game or at some point, or before the next session, it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
You can say, "Hey, oh, I know my name," and it can be a reaction to something that happens.
I don't know. Maybe Ollie will do something wild, and I'll be like,
Well, I know.
Noted.
I do want to remind you both that there is an economic crisis, and that your characters are probably going to be deeply involved. So it could be something as simple as prevent economic collapse of the empire.
yeah. I feel like that's a main goal.
Maybe pretty important.
Yeah. And there probably could be something more specific with that too. So if you get an idea, let me know. But let's move on to you, Marcus.
Yes.
Talk about Oli. Since I'm not in character, I'll use Oli. Your preference.
Perfect.
So what are your beliefs?
To improve the exchange rate for the Samasian mina to the gold sovereign.
Yes, very good. Yep, I got that.
I have the empire will crumble unless I find a political solution to this problem. I'll use every trick at my disposal to manipulate the best outcome for the empire. That was one of the ones we felt
Yeah.
weaker about.
Yeah, that's a little vague. I'm not sure what to do with that. Manipulate the best outcome. Yeah, you need to. I don't want to put you on the spot again,
No.
but you need to think about that one a little bit. Something's not coming to you right away. Then yeah, that's still an action item for you. It might. It might have something to do with the, preventing the economic collapse. That's an empire crumbling, right? Could be something like that.
Yes, political solution to the, because there's going to be a lot to dance around. Political solution to the financial crisis.
Okay. Do you want to have it could be this political, it could be the same as Donica's if you like. Prevent the economic collapse of the
work on the
industry.
economic
Yeah, we could both
collapse.
actually help, maybe.
You can both have the same belief, right?
Let's do that for now.
And then you also had one about Leanne?
Yes, it must be the seat must be filled by the Cordovan bloodline. Leanne will sit on the throne.
Yep. Leanne will sit on the throne. Got it. Okay, I'm glad you saw that one. Not that the aforementioned writing a script based on your beliefs. I thought that might come up.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okie dokie. Ah, yes. Well, in the last council meeting, there was certainly a big hoopla about the economy. As you know, there was a lot of angry voices. People are upset, of course, about the imperial reserves being stolen, disappearing. Some people blame the dwarves either for poor security or for did they steal the gold? I mean, it was a vault in the keep of Steadfast, right there. Stead Hall is the name of the keep. It was a vault in the bowels of that fortress that was robbed. Or the gold. That's where the central bank imperial reserves were located. Okay. As people filing out of the council, I want to kind of I'm not imagining necessarily a scene here, but I want to make sure I'm painting a picture of what the council's like. When you go to the Council of Consuls, it's a weekly meeting. It's the administrative body that runs the empire. It's a big frickin' deal, right? You and there's about 20 of you who are the consuls come into this room. It's a big lavish room where you guys sit around a big circular table and you discuss things, and sometimes visitors come in like Amandella, who gives her update on the she is in charge of palace security. It's fallen into her lap. The fact that the emperor was assassinated in the palace, kind of like, but she's done a very good job of pointing fingers back at other people. She's been in charge of psionic interrogations. There have been a number of these interrogations, and but most of you come with a bit of an entourage. You run departments in the empire. You have clerks, attorneys, scribes. We've never fleshed this out really. I think it'd be fun to start doing that. But you have people. Don't forget that you have people that you can send out to do things for you. Like you imagine, like somebody's the head of an administrative arm of the government as a whole department. So that is you. We've talked about where your offices might be. I think your office is actually in the palace, if I remember right. And so when you go to council, your people come with you, and they're lobbying on your behalf with other aides and scribes of other consuls. There's a lot of politicking that's happening. There's 20 of you in one room, and then there's a big hall out there with probably 100 people.
Oh my gosh!
And a lot of rumor mongering. Nobody thinks that what's said in the council is very secure. Like everybody pretty
half
much.
of the campaign is misinformation, right? So like half my group, you go say all these lies. Circle back.
Right. So the plan that you're being pushed for, and I'm always leery of like pushing you to something and depriving you of your agency, but the momentum of the situation you're in is that Thomas Swift, who's the consul of economics, has outlined a plan for how to save the empire's economy. And it talks about getting the empire off the gold standard, and forcing people to honor credits, and limiting the access to physical cash, which in this case, like gold and silver, coins. And to say, no, you can't have your money is on credit. You own 50,000 gold pieces worth of, I hate the term gold piece. There's no currency. It's actually called a gold piece, but we all know what gold. Yeah. So it could be minas, it could be pfennigs, it could be plutniks, whatever, right? So people have there's currencies for different kingdoms of Chaldea. In fact, yes.
I want to know all the names of these currencies
actually,
now.
Okay, I will tell you. Everybody on Twitch is like, no, don't go through, don't do that. But yeah.
I have done this.
Yes, so I won't. I'll restrain myself. Grotians.
Sorry, I got you distracted.
There's the torts in Graver's Dig. There's
That's
the
right,
casino chip torts. Yeah. So you go to different kingdoms and they have their own currencies. But with the gold reserves having disappeared from the central bank, and some other vaults were robbed as well on the same hour as Credava was assassinated. When word gets out, there's going to be a run on banks. People are going to go to the banks and try and get their money out, and
Panic.
that's
good.
Thomas Swift is like, no, nobody gets their money out. We force everybody to go on credit. Yeah. So now we are not economists, the three of us.
No.
And so we will. I'm not going to put you on the spot to try to understand economic theory because. Well, I mean, I could. I wouldn't know if you were right or wrong, though.
Yeah.
But basically, the way we play this is that your departments are going to be working with the types of entities that you normally deal with. Yours is very much business. So you write the laws of commerce. People that, and it's basically international commerce, how trade routes are set up between countries, what sorts of goods people are allowed to trade between countries. And you're always trying to advocate for more freedom of trade because that makes the entire empire healthier economically. But various countries are always, of course, their own interests. They want to protect, they want to monopolize and stuff like that. So that is, you deal with countries and large international trade organizations and how they work together. You deal with countries almost exclusively in terms of collecting the revenues that are owed. So you're going to be, your offices and lives are going to be under a lot of pressure to just work hard on this issue. But it's also fun if you sneak away and do something else because this is a game.
It's like, hi, we're going to talk about tax policy.
Yeah,
game.
Well, we're going to try to link it to human drama.
Yes.
Yes, and that'll be something. So can I put you in a situation, can I put you kind of into the middle of this? Or, I mean, if you, I guess the thing I'm asking is unless you have something you want to do on your way out of the council meeting, or something you want to do other than go to your office and start working on this thing.
I think that'll be the core thing that I want to do. I will send some aides out on a side mission to basically start doing some research and background into alternative candidates to be head of the bank, basically. Just to get that rolling for later, because that's just happened. This guy dropped dead. So I haven't had very long to consider. So, yes. But that is a side thing I'm sending my aides off to do. I think I'm going to get cracking on the economic issue right away.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. The only thing I can imagine would be writing a letter to Leanne for whenever I can, the correspondence to her for whenever we actually are able to touch base.
The challenge is that you're not sure where she went.
Yeah. Well, if she communicates, they can pass that off.
Yeah, I mean, you...
empty vaults?
Oh! Yes, we were talking about the Imperial Gold Reserves having gone missing.
A picture of all the not money that we don't have.
Oh my gosh.
There we go.
So familiar.
Fake
I like the little ones. The little pieces down there at the bottom. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Whoever stole the money left that as a joke, perhaps.
It's like, it's fine.
Thank you, Tanel. That's great. Fabulous, yes. It is, like Tanel illustrated, it is a spherical vault.
That's cool.
A perfect sphere with a circular door that seals it when it's closed. So you do hear that. Yeah. Okay. So I think what would happen, what would Tama would try and organize, is to your need to talk to people, delegations from different countries. This is a big enough issue that it's going to get kicked up the ranks in some issues, like your people talking to some other people. There's going to be times where you guys personally have to talk with like the king of some place, you know, or the patesi of this or the jarl of that. And it also happens, you might recall, that Tihomir sent out a writ of summons. Oh, yes. In fact, you even delivered one of these writs of summons to Senate.
That was fun.
All over Chaldea. And over the coming few weeks until Senate is called to order, it's expected that there are going to be dignitaries arriving from all over Chaldea to participate in the Senate. Okay? And there is a place called the Senate Discourse. Now you two are both senators also, right? You have to be a senator to be a consul. This Senate Discourse is a massive, like Congress. You know, it's a big legislative building with, and it's got a big central Senate, but it has a whole bunch of offices and places. And people, it's kind of a natural gathering ground without people having, and people will come to the palace too, but it's a little less security. I mean, not in a bad way, but I mean, like, it's a little less formal than coming into the palace.
Okay.
So, Thomas, who outlined this plan, has suggested that that the two of you and him and Anton, who is a relationship you have, by the way, who is head of
Taxation
policy,
Yeah.
right? And the dwarves, that you all set up like adjoining offices in the Senate discourse so that you can all do some joint presentations of this plan to visiting dignitaries and also have breakout meetings and this sort of thing. Do you go along with this idea?
To get together and talk, to just talk?
Basically become a working area, like where, I mean, you have your offices, yeah, it's just kind of thinking like we're all going to be working long hours.
To create a
We're gonna
space
have, we're
just
going to
for
have to
Yeah,
work
that's-
together on a
that's
lot
fine.
of things.
It's a logistical
We're,
thing,
we're all
yeah.
going to have to be able to communicate with each other a lot. Let's just all
In my
have,
overnight bag, yeah.
yeah, let's all set up adjoining offices here in the Senate discourse, and we can have joint meetings as necessary. We can meet with each other as necessary, put in long hours, and
That's practical. I support it.
okay, yeah, and yeah. So the dwarves, by the way, are a bit distracted.
They lost all their money.
Yeah.
Well, and they lost Garl Steadfast, the dwarf that
That's
died.
right. Heart
And
attack.
So yeah, heart attack during the meeting when the elder dragon showed up.
I forgot that that's when it happened. I remember that it happened. I forgot that's when it happened.
Yeah, Laufroth. There's a dragon. Yes, there's a dragon who is a consul, and he hasn't been at council in a while, but he came to the last meeting, and there's a lot of history of enmity between dragons and dwarves in Chaldea. So anyway, so this, but yeah, they're on board. There is a Garl never married, but he did have a lover. He had several. He's had children by several dwarven women, and one of them, an early one, is a woman named Beulah. And Beulah is sort of stepped into the acting, is acting as if she is the head of the bank, the central bank. I mean, somebody needs to be until somebody else is appointed. And she's actually
What was her name
been
again?
there for decades. Beulah.
Beulah.
Yep, Buelah. And Grantal will be there from the Geldzon clan. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you. 6 of the consuls have been joining sort of things. And I want to focus on, as a way to kind of get I've also been like, how do I get my DMing hands around this problem of you having to try and convince a whole bunch of different factions and so forth to go along with this plan. And I thought, well, I think maybe the best way is to just focus on one, as have it be kind of like, let's play out a really important one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and have so the first delegation that comes to the capital city is also one of the most important. Now, there's a bunch of kingdoms that are really important that kind of are around the capital city. In the continent of Tamika, the main continent, the most populous continent, is the continent where the capital city is, and there's several other really important kingdoms. Nobody's too worried. You guys aren't too worried about these kingdoms. They're close to the empire. They're close to the capital. Everything tends to be peaceful with most of them. There's some exceptions, but the two of the most powerful kingdoms that are not on this continent are Emil and Perrin, and they are inspired, respectively, from French and British culture. Okay? Emil being French, of course, and Perrin being British. And they are both. Perrin is an island, a large island kingdom. Emil is a kingdom that shares a large island with one other kingdom. That's a very kind of weird, monstrous race. And these two kingdoms have been allied or enemies throughout Chaldea history. They've had times when they've fought, they've had times, but they have a very shared culture, just like English and French do in real life. And in fact, the king of Perrin, Laurent, is from Emil. He's Amian.
Drax.
Yeah. And he arrives in town, the king of Perrin, and he has an entourage with him. They set up camp. Where are they going to set up camp here? They apparently have, Tomas set this up for them, that they could set up camp in near Celestia. Celestia is the palace of Sybil, who's not been in council since Cordava died. Yeah. By the way, there's an interesting rumor about her floating around that your people would report that they heard from other people. The rumor is that Sybil, when she was interrogated by the Taxians, that she resisted and killed the Taxian that was interrogating her and fled town. That's why she's been missing, that she is on the lam.
Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Gotta thank my informants about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, and she's good friends with Ariadne. The two of them.
She's the social person, right?
Yeah, you might remember that Sybil and Ariadne were dodging Drasildar, trying to get to Cordava's body in the night that he died, and which makes them very persons of interest. Anyway, so the joint Perrin-Amian contingency was given an area here to set up camp, and their camp they set up was a magical fortress. They came in town and went beep, 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 and created like a Danger's magical fortress, you know, that magic item, only much bigger, grander, like an entire huge fortress, complete with magical defenses and a retinue. Ooh. And they just set it up back in Sybil's backyard.
Oh my gosh.
It's like certainly a move. Okay.
Yeah, what's using the space right now?
It's a power move. Yeah. And so they have a whole entourage that comes, and there's a session that you have scheduled with them in specific, because these two kingdoms are two of the most powerful kingdoms out of the direct sphere of the of Saratof, you know, the most powerful foreign nations, if you will, from the perspective of the capital, right? Yeah, and two of the three. There's a couple others, but two of the important ones. They come together to present kind of a united front, and the king of one of the kingdoms is there to treat in person. And I think this kind of represents like one of the more difficult challenges that you'll have is in talking with them. So, in what you're trying to do is convince them that to go along with this plan, and to stay part of the empire, which is really kind of what's at stake here. Like the empire, you can imagine from their perspective, the empire just like the gold reserves are gone. Where you can blame the dwarves, but people outside are blaming you.
Yeah.
You guys, right?
Yeah, we're the people in charge. We lost it. So.
Yeah. And so, and you are specifically are going to want them to continue to pay taxes and be part of the empire.
Yes, I do.
And you specifically are going to want them to continue to honor trade agreements with kingdoms from other, trade agreements that you've worked hard on for many years to get past tariffs and, to reduce tariffs, to honor trademarks, to not demand their guilds be monopolies, just things that you've worked hard, all as, being good citizens of the empire. And they have not been going along with it. So I think that this will be I'm seeing this as a duel of wits. I mentioned in email, so I don't know if you had a chance to look at that. But what I'm proposing is that we use the duel of wits mechanic, which is like, traditionally you just make a persuasion test or whatever. Duel of wits is like a melee, like having several melee rounds of combat to resolve a political, a social disagreement.
Yeah.
Okay, and so. The way it works is that we start with what's called I've got my notes out here. And by the way, I have not run one of these in a long time, so that's I have it electronic.
Find out as we go along. It'll be fun.
Yeah. I
read this twice in the back of a lift.
So. What it starts with is what's called state your case, which is this is what both sides want and what they want, okay? And I think I've articulated, I think I've said kind of what you want. You want them to keep paying taxes, to honor the plan, pay taxes, use of credit, and and you want them honor existing trade committee.
Exactly.
Trade agreements.
Agreements that they made to the empire.
Yeah, and what they are demanding is a payment in gold, which you guys don't have, but that's what they're demanding is payment in gold, valuables, or property for their account balances with the central bank.
And we want to make sure that's on, because the plan is to keep it on credit if we're going to do that, right?
Yeah.
So we do not want to.
Yeah. No, that's
Basically, we need to convince them, like, you need to stay in the empire, and you need to agree to go on credit with us.
Yeah. And they're not saying that they want to be independent of the empire.
They better not be.
Just like,
But they are. It's certainly being postured that's at stake, right?
Yeah.
Like their continued loyalty
It's contingent on this.
is hey, they just break free and stop paying taxes and and still try and get their money back.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way Duel of Words works, that's so. I put words in your mouth, but does that
Yes.
sound good for you guys? Okay.
Correct. That sounds great for me. Yeah.
Okay. And so that is part of the process of the Duel of Wits mechanics. Everybody has to agree that this is that they're willing to use this mechanic to proceed.
we're willing to play ball.
Yeah. And I mean, the alternative is to say, walk out of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw that. Walking away.
Yeah, you can just to say, no, I'm going to walk away. So you're going to stay and do your jobs.
Yeah, we cannot.
Yeah.
In this instance, yeah.
Literally what we're being paid for.
Yeah.
We're not paid for. It's fine.
Right. And so we will establish what's called a body of argument. Now, let's see. Well, if you guys have looked at this, maybe you saw it, but I'm trying to remember what happened if we have basically multiple PCs. I think one of you becomes the central person and the other person can do help dice. Let's see, dual wits, or you take turns. That's it. Let's see.
Because if it's a turn-based thing, then maybe it could be like between the two of us. If one of us feels stronger about coming forward to like do something about it, maybe we're kind of partners in it and looking at each other, being like, "You take this, you take this."
Yeah,
Like,
we do have very similar goals right now.
Yeah.
And we are negotiating on behalf of the Empire, so,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Okay, I could see doing that.
Yeah, and obviously you have allies, but everybody's busy.
Yeah.
Right. Toma is deep in a conversation with the other most powerful kingdom in Chaldea outside of, that's Hesse, or somebody. So it's just like it's the two of you, who are two. And all the councils are. It's divide and conquer. Everybody's doing this, right? I think it might be good if. Okay, so here, you have 2 or 3 characters per side. You use patrol method. One player rolls the body of argument, the other help. Each player takes an action in the exchange. Speaks apart, rolls a dice. Other members may support using helping mechanics. Okay, characters don't take 2 actions in a row. Okay, all right, there we go. Okay, so that answers that question. Okay, I need to put something there. Okay, so for body of argument, there is going to be a test. And if this is for a sort of a, let's see, intimate and personal argument, no. Showy debate, maybe. Harsh questioning, test interrogation. No, it's not really an interrogation. Okay, so this is like a showy debate. You guys are all lobbying in front of your respective aides are there. And they have their entourage there, and so for that, the typical skills are oratory, or rhetoric, or poisonous or centaurious debate. Do either of you have any of those skills?
I have both of those skills.
I have rhetoric.
Excellent. Okay, I would say I'm figuring out.
Persuasion play into this at all?
Not for this. Okay. I mean, it will in some of the details, but not for this particular test. So what are your scores in oratory and rhetoric?
Oratory is a 5, rhetoric is a 3.
Okay, there's a 5. And what's your rhetoric?
Is a 2.
Okay, so I would recommend that you do the test for the body of argument.
Okay.
And so that will be your oratory. Yeah, you're getting your oratory test in. Now, what happens is the number of successes you get is added to your will. What's your will?
My will is a 6.
What's yours?
7.
Okay. Well, I think that having the 5
That's
versus
stronger.
the 2 is probably stronger, even though you have a stronger will.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's way better.
And you can, so you get out your 5 dice. Don't roll them yet. Go ahead and put them out here. Yeah, we are building up to a die roll there.
It's coming. Stay tuned.
There's not going to be a success or fail. Okay, so you have 5 dice, and you can lend a help dice. So if you want to lend a help die, you can slide it over.
I would love to. I would use what I use. Do I have to pick what I use or any skill?
Rhetoric.
Rhetoric. Okay.
Yeah, because so you can slide a die over there.
Awesome.
And I'm going to say that you have a die. Somebody on your staff is also skilled at this, and will give you a help die.
Awesome.
Okay?
Cool.
You can use persona on this test if you want. This body of argument will basically will determine your hit points, if you will. It's basically what we're doing here.
Oh, let's see. It looks like I have 3 persona on here. I don't know exactly.
You never want to spin the last one.
Okay.
You can, but this is something you have to decide before you roll.
Yeah.
And so if you want to spin a persona, it's one more die in the pool.
I'm gonna not use it yet. Maybe if we get to dire
there will be a lot of
straits
die rolls
later.
here.
Yeah. Okay.
These subsystems are designed to help me get you to spend your fate, because fate tends to stockpile if you never use the subsystems. Yeah. Okay. Great. I'm trying to think if I can think of anything else.
Does anything with reputation help with any of this? If you have like relationships that might play in, that makes it easier for me.
The only thing that you said would help probably was rhetoric and oratory from my end, not like.
Yeah, you can only help. You can only get
anything.
one die
One
on the help.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
It has to be the right skill, and you have the right skill, so you get the die.
Perfect.
Okay, the body of argument.
I'm just curious if having a particularly a relationship or a reputation helps at all. If it's
Reputations help with circles tests,
okay.
and relationships. If you
So probably not for a dual flights.
you have who do you have relationships with? Maybe
The merchant guilds, which is they
Well,
want
They're
to.
here, right?
relationships are with the individual.
That's on Anton and T.A. Swift. I've got relationships with both of them. So
You want to try and get one of them in here. I mean, they're out doing other things, but you was like, holy shit, this is like a big
I would be
deal.
like, this is a big one. I'm going to see if I can loop one of them in. I would at least try to see if I can loop one of them in.
Yeah, I forgot you do have relationships with both of them.
Yes,
Okay, so
In my,
okay,
they are in
all
my
right.
department.
and by the way, this is okay. So let me answer my other questions.
Do you want to have a new taxation law that really sucks for you? Because we can make that happen.
That. Very convincing. I feel.
Have you met my friend?
Introduce everyone like, have you thought this through?
You've met my friend Anton, and also
Okay, I apologize. I don't have this.
Oh, you're good. There's a lot. This is a really dense, wonderful book, but there's a lot to look at. That's why sticky notes and tabs have been our friend
at this.
while
Look
we're
at this
learning
monster.
this. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Far more organized than mine. I need to get on that.
and mine are not even that organized. Like I could do much worse. No, Danica's just like, this whole thing is like what I do, so like I certainly hope that I do well, but we'll see, because it's all down to these like dice pools, and dice pools are so like,
Yeah.
there's like a stat major out there who's like, no.
Yeah, I always think there's somebody watching the stream like, Peter, no, you're getting it all wrong. Yeah, whatever. The first rule of I go back to what Gary Gygax said in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Don't let some backroom lawyer try to tell you how to run your game. Just do it. Just dive
At a certain
in
point,
and
you're
do
no
it.
longer having fun.
That's not a
Isn't
direct
even
quote,
game.
but yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. So I'm not finding the little thing I was working for. Okay. So in terms of a circles test to get Anton, you said?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
have Anton.
Okay. So let's look at the circles mechanic. This is going to be not a bad sort of. This is shouldn't be too hard to roll. Okay, so circles start with ob 1. If and there's all sorts of ways there can be penalties. You're not going to get a penalty because of occupation. This is somebody in a similar occupation. It's somebody in your station. It is. You're not looking for somebody with some. You're looking for a specific person that you already know, and but right here, right now, in the middle of trouble. Well, you could have. This meeting was on your agenda, and as it gets close, I'm going to say this is going to be a big deal. So
I've been like, hey, can you move your schedule, that block right there, that one meeting? I would need you to have an open block so we can argue with these guys.
Yep. So,
Leave me alone
and
with that.
I mean, he's got an office right next door. So I'm gonna pull a +1 ob on it, just from the, like, I mean, he would be there for sure, but there could be something just as critical, because that's the chaos that you're in the middle of right now.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's gonna be ob 2, and you've got a circles of, what's your circle score? It's an attribute.
Circle score. Over
That's your
here.
character burner. Look at your character sheet. It's probably going to be, look on the back of that. Flip it over. Circles is going to be, oh, you haven't put it over there yet. Okay, so it's on here. Circles is down here then. Circles.
Oh, okay.
4.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's put these aside for a minute. You're going to roll 4 dice, and there's no forking or anything like that. So
Okay, let's see. I've got
5 and a 6.
6.
Yeah, it's ob 2, so there you go. Okay, success on a success. Woohoo!
Don't get in here.
Yeah, I know I didn't build that up very well.
It's just like, oh, it's
They're
so
gonna be a-
nice. It's so good
Yeah,
to
yeah,
talk with you. I've been so excited for this. We're gonna get everybody here. Anton, can you just come over here for a second? Look, who's here?
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, Anton comes. Yeah, I'm kind of glossing over a lot of the, the formality. I mean, this is set up. Your people talk to his people. It's it's the king of a kingdom.
Yep.
He is, on par with somebody like Zune in terms of power, or Sybil, or some of the most powerful consuls. Not as powerful as the emperor was, obviously, but like Tiamir is the ruler of Roosh, in addition to his position on the council. Okay, so, and there are 4 characters in this entourage of interest. One of them is, like I mentioned, the King Laurent. There is also a wizard. Everybody knows he's a wizard. Just like, that's Belkis. He's the court sorcerer for the Kingdom of Perrin. His name is Belkis.
Belkis.
He's human, British wizard, sort of a Merlin type character, if you will. The French representative is the guy that's known as being like the baddest ass knight in Emile. His name is Gris Luzon.
Gress?
Gris, Gris. Gris, excuse me.
Gris.
French. French. Gris. Gris Luzon.
Luçon. Gris
Yes,
Luçon.
Gris Luzon. The Chevalier of the crown. And he is like, he's got your trait, drop dead gorgeous.
Okay.
Physically powerful, beautiful armor, just the whole 9 yards. And there is a person with them who is sitting in a, what do they call those things they carry? I forget. Like you put them in, like.
I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
people like a couple people carry
holding
this
the
little
ends and they're
thing,
sitting on
and
it.
there's and inside like a and the drapes are down. There's somebody
Yeah, I don't know what it's
present,
called.
but you don't know who it is.
Okay.
Okay, that's with them, and it's anyway. So, and there's scribes and stuff like that, and they all get formally introduced, and all this. There's all the appropriate sorts of things. I mean, these meetings would be so much more efficient if you could just like cut to the chase.
Yeah, there's just like 30
have to
minutes
go.
later of them announcing their titles and like.
So a guy comes in with some horns and starts playing, and the next procession has to come in.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. It just
We're just
slows.
sitting there like-
It's just like, okay, come on, we get to work. Yeah.
The empire is crumbling. Stop playing horns.
Every second.
It's like Anton's aide is like, yeah, I'll come over as soon as the when we get past the there's Gree.
Oh, there
yeah,
you go.
yeah, nice.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
very good visual. I was wondering who was that cutie over there. It's Gree.
It's Gree. Yeah. Yeah, Anton would be like, yeah, okay, I'll show up when the actual discussions start.
Once the horns stop playing, then
Right now, I
that's your
got these
cue.
damn Hessens I got to deal with.
Like I'll send one of my aides to kick you in the ankle.
Okay, I think that we are ready for you to make this this body of argument test. And let's see, I got to get back to the right spreadsheet here.
All right, and if Anton is there, do I get another die from him? Or?
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
good
Yes.
ask. I forgot about that. Very
yes,
good.
yes,
Very good.
yes,
I rolled
yes.
about it and everything.
Yes, that's exactly right. Okay, so we're gonna do your body of argument. Okay, so it's gonna be your will,
Okay.
which is I think we determined was 6,
6, yes.
plus plus however many successes you get here.
Okay.
All right.
We'll see what
Yeah,
the dice
it's-
gods do.
You got this.
The stats got this. All right. Let's see. I've got 3 6s.
and the rest are all traders.
And the rest are all traders.
Okay, so you can spend a fate to explode the 6s.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you want it. Yeah,
So,
for
well,
sure.
let's go
So
ahead and push
leave these dice out here untouched. Just
let's
leave them
take
there and just
these
put in 3 more dice.
And 2 4s.
2 more successes.
All right.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. So
And I
that's
will-
5 plus your will of 6
So 11.
is 11. It's your body of argument.
Yay, stats and fate.
Mark down some fate. That was enough 6s that it was good to explode.
Yeah. So the so Laurent is going to do the same from his end, and he has also a will of 6,
Oof.
and he is getting. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's for the body of argument. Oh, yeah. No, he's testing oratory, and his oratory skill is 5. So 1,
good.
2, 3, 4, 5. And he is getting help from Belkus and help from Gree. So that's 7
Very
dice.
nice.
Oh my God, that's not very. That's not bad. That's not horrible. Okay, so that's 3 successes. He definitely has fate. 4 successes. 4 and 6 is 10. So you have a slight advantage. Slightly better body of argument. Okay, so now we get to do the thing. I have a little thing that you guys can pass back and forth. I only have 2 of these pens. We'll have to share. But only one of you is actually going to use one of those at a time.
Yeah.
So actually, one of these, you're going to start. So that's going to be the official one, but you have it to refer to.
Yeah,
Okay.
This is so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Laminated and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so the way Duel of Wits works is that you're going to program a volley of 3 actions. And I'm going to do the same. We both simultaneously, secretly do it. And I'll do mine first and flip it over so that you guys can talk freely about what yours is without me being able to change it. And there is, so there's several different tactics you can take. And you see them over in these 2 columns here, and there's a lot of words and stuff like this here. But let me help you kind of break it down a little bit. There's avoid the topic. There is dismiss. There's feint, incite, obfuscate, point, and rebuttal. The if you notice beneath each one of those, avoid the topic. Underneath that, it says Tess will. That's a big hint because you're going to want to be. You're probably going to be drawn towards actions that you can do well. Like you have a will of 7.
Yes.
So avoid the topic. And the way it's going to work with the 2 of you is that you guys are going to alternate actions. So as Ray is the lead, Donica will pick the first volley. And the way it works is you're just going to check. Like first volley, you're just going to check which one of these to use, and then second volley, check which one. Third volley, check which one. And there's some ones on here you don't have to worry about, like casting spells, and you're not casting spells. Maybe they are, who knows? But you're not.
Gosh.
There might be some. Who knows? There might be some trickery or sorcery around, at work. But basically, those first 3 sections: verbal attack, verbal defense, and special verbal actions. So you can kind of get an idea which of these are interesting based on what skills you have high scores in. So like you have an oratory of 5. You look through here, oratory comes up in dismiss. And I'll tell you a little bit about some of these, just so you know. Dismiss is very powerful, but if it but you use it when you think you're close to winning, you can get some advantages, and you'll have more likely chance of winning a dismiss or scoring points with a dismiss than other actions. But if you fail, then you have a disadvantage going into the next volley. Okay. Point is like I attack. Point is like a good solid. You leave yourself open to something. It's not defensive at all. So, but it's a good way to score points. And when I talk about scoring points, this body of argument you have of 11, the body argument I have of 10. In the course of our duel, we're going to take damage to our body of argument, and whoever gets down to 0 first loses.
Okay.
Right. So it's like having hit points. Very much like having hit points. Okay.
Argument points.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me think about.
I have a notion for what I would like to lean into my strengths for. It's not nice though.
So let me pick mine before you talk.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Good idea.
yeah.
Very good idea.
And the good news is I'm not very good at this. Just because I've done it before doesn't. I've never figured out
None of us
a
have
good
done
strategy for this.
We're just like, whatever sounds good.
I think. I think that's. And what's fun is when we play these out, you get to you're obligated to say something that supports whatever it is you're doing.
Oh.
Which is kind of fun.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just highlighting all the things that I actually have on my skill sheet and being like, okay, like what do I have the most highlights in?
Yeah, I'm going through that right now. This is a.
Okay.
I have a thing.
I've made my decision. And so the way it is now, so the first volley, Ray, is your character, and you'll roll the test for that. The second volley is Marcus's character, because you two are both doing this. So you will have your action, whatever you decide is going to be in the second volley, and then it's back to Ray, Donica for the third volley. And then in the next round, Marcus's character would start. Basically, it's you alternate, but since there's 3 volleys, you take turns being who's first.
Sounds good to me.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah. Roll for it.
So I am simply waiting for you to decide what your volleys are.
Okay, so basically.
So you can check off.
Side volley 1.
And if you guys want to convert, you can.
Yeah.
But you need to check for volleys 1 and 3, what your actions are going to be on volleys 1 and 3. So you just put little check marks.
So you're
in
going
the
to do
box.
this if I borrow your pen?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah, and you just check number 2.
Yeah,
that's
all I was
right.
gonna do.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
But you have to check which
The
one.
boxes and stuff. Yeah, I wanted to
you
listen to
have
what
check.
she was going to say first before.
I was thinking I might start out with an insight to try to see if I can weaken them a little bit going into whatever like your next action is going to be, but it depends on what you're good at. I have 8s in falsehood and intimidation. Ooh. So I'm very good at inciting, but I am also pretty good at dismissing as well, because anything that can bring the intimidation or a falsehood in. So I could be dismiss or I could be feint, but incite is where I can pull 2 8s out. So.
Okay. Sounds good.
Though, Peter, let me know if that's how it works. Is it like everything that I bring to the table, like that's how many dice I get to roll, or do I have to pick just one of them?
I'm sorry, I was planning my own. I was
I
figuring out how many dice I'm supposed to roll because I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to have to roll 2 dice too.
Yeah, because basically I've got, say if I did do incite, I have 8s in falsehood and intimidation. Do I have to just pick one of those to use, or am I using all of them?
Yeah, okay, so if you have, so what you'll do is you'll pick one skill to test.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so what were the 2 you have? Falsehood?
Falsehood and intimidation.
Okay, so you'll pick one of those,
Okay.
and then you'll fork the other one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, okay. So any of these, if you have multiple skills on this list, you can fork one into the other. So if you have a 7 falsehood or 8, whatever it was,
Yeah.
whichever one you test, you get to add 1 die from the other one.
Okay, nice. So basically, I've got an 8 in intimidation, I've an 8 in falsehood. If I was going to go for intimidation, being like, are you sure you really want to break off from the Empire? I don't think that'll go so good for you. We still have a huge military power on our side,
Yeah,
blah, 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 like that kind of thing. Or it just
Yep.
is going to go bad for you economically because everybody's friends with me. As you know, I have a great reputation with all of the merchant guilds, something like that. Just to say it's going to be
Yeah.
rough for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intimidation, and then I would fork into falsehood. Maybe I overplayed a little bit, being like, oh, maybe we will be really mean to you, and just like hide the fact that it would be rough. So then I would get an extra die, so it'd be 9 die total.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, there is an Imperial Legion just outside the capital city of Perrin. And there's one.
We're like,
There's,
we're very America in that we have military outposts all over the place.
there is also an Imperial Legion not far from the capital of Emil. It's almost as if the Emperor thought about this.
Yes. So I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. If you want to, yeah. So if you're looking for, things that you could say to support something like that.
All right, I think I will go with that unless you would like me to try something, because I could, because either way there's other things where I could fork into them quite easily, because falsehood, persuasion, like I could do a feint or something. I just feel like putting them on the back foot as an opener would be very Danica.
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. I'm going to mark that down. I'm going to incite as my first action in volley 1. Do I need to pre-plan volley 3?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, these are
What
all
are you
planned.
gonna
So
do?
I think I'm going to lead with dismissal. There's more important things than this silly, than this. Like this is about the Empire.
You did hear what I said about dismissal? Did you hear?
Maybe I didn't.
Dismissals usually for when we're about to close the
Oh, that's
argument
right.
and we're
Okay.
closing
I missed that. My bad.
You want when you think you have enough that you're close enough to knocking out their body of argument,
That's right, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I am good at intimidation, so I would be able to do intimidation, and I believe I can. What do I need to do to fork? Is there a score that I need to be at to fork into?
No, you just have to have the skill.
Okay, then yeah, I would be able. I can definitely fork on the dismissal.
Oh, and if the fork. Oh, here's another thing. If the forking skill has. If the skill that you're forking in is at least a 7, if you have a skill 7 in that skill, you get to add 2 dice.
Oh, not quite that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. In the incite, I do. Like I'm able to pull in 2 8s on that, so yeah, I do get an extra die.
So what are you doing on your third
There
one?
you go.
The third one, I'm thinking dismiss.
Dismiss. Okay.
Because I would be close to it. I can use my intimidation, which again is an 8, and then I can fork in either to oratory or rhetoric and get 9 die for the dismiss attempt.
Okay. Nice.
10 on the first attempt. 9. Okay.
Okay, so you guys have your
So
pick?
that's. I'm just gonna confirm real quick. What do you have? 1 and 2 again?
1 and 3.
Or sorry, 1 and 3 again?
You're doing volley
Apologies.
2.
I'm doing incite on volley 1, and I'm going to do dismiss on volley 3 to try to end
Okay.
the argument.
Okay. Perfect. Then I will point.
Point's always good. If you can't decide, I
Actually
think
talk about our argument.
point's a good, solid attack. So you're doing that on volley 2.
Correct.
Okay.
Just looking at incite, it says that basically it's a standard test. Obstacle is equal to the victim's will exponent. If the inciting player passes the win, then the victim has to make a steal test. And if he hesitates, he'll miss his next action. So,
Yeah.
But if it fails, then there's going to be problems, and it'll make it worse for you.
All right, let's jump in. Okay. My first volley is a point,
Okay.
and yours is what?
Incite.
Insight. Okay, so I have a little chart. I have a little cheat sheet here. I'm looking at insight versus point. Okay, insight versus point. Okay, the pointer, which is me, tests and successes are subtracted from your body of argument. Insider tests against my will. Successful opponent makes a steal test or loses next action. Fail, the margin of failure is added to the. Okay, so you test, and if you're successful, I have to make a steal test and lose the next action. Okay, if I fail, the margin of failure is added as an advantage die to your next test. Okay, so let me do my pointer. The point is he's using oratory, and he starts off with a well, yeah. Normally we would have these conversations with the emperor, and instead we have you two. It's hard to understand what is holding this empire together, especially now that you've gone off and lost all the money. And then Belkis is like, yeah, this scheme, how ridiculous is this? This idea that there doesn't have to be gold in the bank. What have you done with our gold? And Gree steps in and says, I could see that the dwarves were not brave enough to treat with us. They sent you, poor lot, to deal with us instead. Okay, so now I'm going to roll the dice and see how much damage I did. 4, 5, 6. Okay, this is I've got a bunch of dice already out here. So let's see how much. 1, 2, 3, 4. You took 4 points of damage.
Okay.
So now you're at 7. Now, for your insight, is that you, with an acid tongue and a biting wit, you may attempt to distract or dismay your opponents, and you have to insult them.
Okay. That's rich coming from the people who have lost the last 3 skirmishes and have pulled us in to help you. So I think what's holding the country together is our military might, our willpower, and the machines that we put it together over the last 50 years. What do you think?
Ollie spits out his water.
We'll see if any of that lands, because it's all down to the dice.
Yeah. Okay, so put out the dice that are what skill are you using? That sounded like intimidation.
That is intimidation.
Okay, so put out, how many dice is that?
That's going to be 8 dice that are going into intimidation.
Wow.
And then I'm going to fork into some falsehood, because I think I'm probably just overplaying that a little bit.
I'm going to take the red dice. Okay, so go ahead and.
Yes, so here's the 8.
And then put in for your fork.
Fork is there's 2, because the other one I'm falsing into is an 8.
All right.
So
All right.
we'll see.
Okay, and you can help if you like. If
Yes,
you have,
this is, I have Ugly Truth, which I believe
This is for insight?
helps with insight.
That would be great.
Okay,
yes, it does.
well,
I'm going to
you
pass
can
that one die.
pass
over.
her.
Is it okay if I just give you the one that I just gave her before? Just give her a
Oh,
brand
is
new
that
one?
your die?
Yeah, big fat one.
Yeah. Okay, so what you have to join in the insulting then. You have to say something, the ugly truth. What is the ugly truth here?
Oh. The ugly truth is you can't do this without us. You can't do it without the Empire.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay, so
All right.
roll the
Power
dice.
without
and
the Empire.
see how you get.
We let you have that power.
All right. Let's see.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
And you're testing versus his will, which is 6.
I've seen a lot of 6s in there.
Wow.
That is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
Yeah, you don't even have to use a fate. You got the 6. You got the 6. That's all you need. Okay.
Just like, and your armor's not that shiny. Clean that
Okay, so his steel is actually not that good, which is really good for you because
This man cries in the middle of
bad.
This is his perfect little heritage. Oh my gosh.
just like,
Sorry, Grease.
it's like, oh, why did they send her? And it's like, well,
For this very reason.
Yeah, so he's a lot more nervous than he looks about being here, and his steel is only 4, which is actually pretty bad because let's see, it makes
I hear that, like, what is the average steel? Like, what does an average person have for steel?
four's kind of low.
Okay.
Gree is thinking maybe he should be in charge. Okay. Well, there's no forks or anything for a steel test, so or help dice.
Roll to not cry.
Oh my god.
Full fail.
I'll fail. Oh my god. Okay, so I think I made his steel too low. That was
He dies then and there.
no.
A broken heart.
It's not going to be that bad. It's not going to be over, but it's not good.
He looks great, but like inside, he's like, I'm gonna think about this for years.
Dying inside. Just a
Okay.
night, every
I
day
lost
in
my
the
place.
shower.
Oh,
Just
this
gonna
was
think about
insight
this.
versus point, right? Okay. If successful, opponent makes a steel test or loses next action. If fail, the margin of failure is added. Well, you didn't fail. Okay, so so he fails his steel test. So he's gonna his next action is so he's gonna lose his next action. Okay, yeah, that's simple. That's what it is. So now we go to the next action. Only he doesn't get to do anything, so he's defenseless. And also, steel test. When you fail a steel test, it's even worse than that.
Oh no.
You fail a steel test, you have to either run away screaming, swoon, or
Go either way.
the typical one is stand and drool.
Doesn't have to like actually fall prone. He could stumble or something. These are a little intense.
Okay,
Just falls over.
so
seen that before.
they lose their second volley. So your second volley, what did you script?
Point.
Okay, well there you go. Okay, so what skill are you going to use in the point?
I'm going to use persuasion and try to fork in rhetoric.
Okay.
So I haven't rolled in about 5 months in this campaign, so I'm going to ask a couple questions.
So persuasion. What's your skill on persuasion?
My persuasion is 4.
Okay, so you start with 4 dice,
4 dice.
and then what's your skill in rhetoric?
2.
2. Okay, so you add 1 die as a fork to the 4. That looks like 5. Yeah, there you go. Okay, no problem.
Oops.
You can lend a help die if you like.
I would love to help die. Here, I'll send you one of my bitty ones.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can also spin persona if you want, but there's going to be a lot of rolls, so maybe.
Yeah, I think I'm going to save that right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And my goal is to how many successes do I need?
Just the more the better. However many successes you get is how much damage you do.
Okay. And what classifies as success in this game?
4, 5, or 6.
4, 5, or 6.
Each die is evaluated separately. Oh my gosh, you only got 1.
I only got 1.
Oh, the
pools,
that's
man.
sad.
You can literally have like 15 dice in something, and they'll all be like 2.
So that's 1 success.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. We also have, by the way, you're scoring. Some of these are going to be graduated tests isn't going to help you much, but the test you did versus the will. Ray, when you did your test what was the skill? I forgot to use.
I have
intimidate.
Yeah, intimidate.
Intimidate.
Intimidate with a fork into falsehood.
And you had a I think you rolled.
Oh, because we got to mark them.
You rolled more than 8 dice, I think.
Yeah, I rolled 10 dice.
Okay,
I
so
rolled
you
10 dice and I got 6
that was just a
successes.
routine test then.
Yeah.
So, your persuasion, you get a routine test for that. Your skill is only 4, so routine tests count. You get a routine test. So the way that works, let me see your character sheet for a second. Okay, so the way that works is here where you have persuasion, you see these rows, you get to fill in another dot by the R, which is routine.
Okay.
So you've got one already, so it's your second routine test.
Yeah.
To advance persuasion, you need 4 routine tests and either 2 difficult or 1 challenging.
Okay.
And then your persuasion will go up by 1.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, let's go to the third volley. Okay, so you're going to do a dismiss.
Yeah, though, I mean,
Yeah, that's a little.
appropriate at this
I
point,
think you came in a
because-
little early on this one.
yeah,
Yeah.
they ended. So.
That's okay. That's okay. They're doing point because it's just so good. Point versus dismiss. Let me look at my little matrix and
Now that
see
I'm seeing
how.
how it works, I'm like, okay.
I know. This is the. Yeah.
This is a
okay.
really cool mechanic, though. Like, I haven't seen anything like this before in a game, and you mentioned this earlier on and when we first started talking about this game.
Yeah.
So this is like, it's cool to actually see it in the flow. I cannot wait to do this more. Oh, this is...
Okay, it's we both. It's just we're both straight on attacking the other one. It's like we're you get 2 extra dice. So and neither one of us have defense. We're both defenseless. So you're rolling to see how many successes you can get, and that's how much damage you do. I'm rolling to see how many successes I can get, and that's how much damage I do. And the for dismiss, you're doing the intimidation.
Yep, so I am doing
Yep.
intimidation with a fork into rhetoric.
Yeah, and he's going to do. He's going to switch to persuasion. Okay, which he's a little bit weaker at, but he has a reason. Okay, so let me. Do you want to go first?
Dismissing, right?
Let me go
Yeah, I'm
first.
going for a dismiss.
Do you need an extra die?
I think I have one from you. Can I count on your?
Yeah, you can count on my vote.
Okay, cool. So I have all my dice ready to
Yeah,
go.
you have all your dice. Do you want to use any persona for more dice? If you can get 9 successes, you'll. That's
9 successes out of 10. Like I'm rolling like.
I know, but if you explode 6s, I mean, it's not as
possible.
near. It's not likely for sure.
Yeah, because I can explode 6s. Can I explode them after the fact, or do I have
Yeah,
to?
you do that. Persona, you decide before you roll. Exploding 6s with a fate, you decide. You wait and see if you rolled any 6s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll just wait and see if I can just try to do some damage on my own. Just
All right.
See.
Okay, and did you get the +2 dice for being a dismiss?
Oh no, I didn't.
Okay,
yeah.
so here, I'll help you out.
Nice.
All right, let's see if I can just do some damage with the dismiss.
Yeah, go for it. Go for the 9.
Let's
Go
see.
for the jet. Oh, lots of 6s.
Oh my God.
Ray's going to roll for me from now on.
Let's see. It's pretty good, not incredible, but that's a lot of 6s. So
Yeah.
I could try to explode.
You could spend a fate and get 3 more dice.
6. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Why not? This seems important. It is my thing.
It's basically the only thing you do with fate is to explode 6s. So you
yeah.
know.
So I mean, like, right? I'm just like, what else am I gonna
3.
do with them?
It's a pretty important roll. You've got 6. If all 3 of them come up, quite. Oh, so 8 points of damage.
That's a lot of damage in a row.
So you've reduced our body of argument to 1.
Okay. This is like literally like as she's like turning around, like the whole thing that she's saying is she's just like on the point that my colleague just said. Your defenses are weak from the series of militia problems you've been having for the last 5 years, is it? That have been draining your reserves, which is why I think you're asking for so much cash gold right now that you won't even play ball with the economic system that we're talking through. Also, it's not just that we don't have the gold. Nobody has the gold right now. In fact, the people who do have the gold, I already took it from them. So she's just like, and then starts going on and on and on in this vein. So. But 8 points of damage.
Yeah. So you did help dice, so you get to throw in. The dismiss tactic is this is the cataclysmic and undeniable conclusion of your argument. You loudly declare your opponent knows nothing about the topic at hand. It's a fool and a dullard and shouldn't be listened to any further. Something along those lines.
Yeah. For the ruler of a kingdom, I thought you'd be able to grasp the magnitude of the situation you're in. This is beyond your kingdom. This is the entire empire. This is a joke. You will honor your commitments.
All right. Okay, there you go. Okay, so now they also get to do the same thing. They're only getting 6 dice. You guys are actually better bureaucrats than they are.
Yeah, something. Look at me now, Dad.
There's a reason Cordava chose you. Okay, so. That's not good. 2 dice. 2 successes. We will use a fate for 1 more. 3. Okay, so your body of argument is reduced from 7 to 4. This is going to end up in compromise. King Laurent switches on the charm. You know, let us be civilized here. We are all part of the same great empire that Emperor Cordava built for us. We all want this empire to thrive and prosper. We don't want to have to do anything rash. We don't want to have to separate from the empire. That's a lose-lose scenario. But we do need to protect our interests. We do need operating capital, and you have over so many $100,000 worth, not dollars, but worth of capital in your banks. You need to help us with something, And Belka says, points over to the Colossus. That Colossus is made of obsidian. Let's take it down and sell it for parts. You, as the Empire, have huge amounts of wealth in hard current and valuable assets that could be liquidated to help the Empire. And then Gree is
Crying.
No. Gree is Gree's doing okay. He's the warrior guy. The king is a little shaky.
The king is crying. That's worse.
It's the king that
Good job, by the way.
Like yeah.
Yeah, it's like
So Gree is. You realize that my friend's nephew controls the sea, right? Do you really want to interfere with? Do you still want your ships to be able to sail? And that's all he says.
so, like the compromise that's being posited here, because what they wanted was pay us like this large sum. Are they proposing a compromise of a smaller sum, or do I need to counter with?
No, we have to go one more round.
One more round?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we go until the body
cool.
argument
Okay, got it.
is
Okay.
0.
Kill
Nobody's
them.
nobody's dead yet. So, I imagine there's a good chance it's going to go. But there is a problem. Because you used dismiss but failed to end the argument, there's a penalty.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost.
If you win, let's see.
Sad face.
If you fail to win the duel via this action, you hesitate for your next volley. Cross off the next action, or skip the first volley of the incoming exchange. Okay, so well, I think we'll just use. If you don't mind, we'll save a little time, and I'm just going to have him roll a dismiss, because now they think that victory is easily within hands. You have no way to defend them. This is a perfect time for dismiss. So their dismiss is 6 dice plus 2. So I just need to get 4 successes, and then this exchange is over. And if not, we'll script the next 2. Yeah, easy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Duel of Wits, it's usually it usually ends with like this, which is that one side wins, but just barely. So they won the argument. Their dismiss was, listen, you have military power. We also have military power. We know about the legions. Don't think that we don't have very excellent night orders. And those legions don't have the Drowsadar with them anymore. You need us. You need us to play ball. If we don't come into line, if we don't go along with your scheme, then a lot of other countries are going to flip. People look to us as 2 of the most important countries that's not your neighbors and under your thumb. So there you go. That's what they say. And it's compelling. And generally kind of the vibe of the room is that they won the argument, but just barely. So, yeah, because their body of argument is reduced to 0, but yours is at 1. I mean, the other way around. Okay, theirs is at 4, and you guys are 0. So what happens in this case is that the result is a compromise, and the if the winner's body of argument is reduced to half, the winner must offer a compromise. If the winner's body of argument is reduced to less than half, nearly 0, let's say, winner must offer a major compromise. And
I'm like, fine, we'll pay you, but it's like 25% of what you asked.
Yeah.
Really, it's just down to haggling on an economic country level. It's like, no, not 10 pesos. I want it to be 3.
yeah, to bring them into the fold, you are going to have to dip into some of the reserves that you do have that not part of the gold reserves, but no, what they'll do is they'll take it in reduction of taxes. No, yeah. So you negotiate an agreement where they end up deferring about half the taxes, and a quarter of the taxes are just forgiven.
Okay. But that's still a major compromise and a reduction. So while we are annoyed at it, we're like, okay.
Yeah, it did work.
Yeah.
We did get something out of it.
Yeah, they're not. Let's see. Yeah, you wanted them to pay their taxes. Oh, and honor their existing trade agreements. And there's going to be some adjustments to some of the trade agreements because the Empire can no longer control the Tritons. The Tritons will inevitably embark on a campaign of piracy. And this is going to eat into the cost basis, blah, 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 and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's, but they do stay in, they do say, well, they do agree to stay in the Empire and to go along with the system for now. We're here for Senate. The real discussion is what's going to happen in Senate in a few weeks and who's going to be the next emperor of the world. And, and Greece say, well, it's going to be you, obviously, King Laurent.
Like just very loudly, ha! While he's feeling weak.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, thinking of something else. Funny. This guy's gonna be crazy. He was just crying on the ground, face down.
I'm like, that can't be what he actually did. It can't be what he actually did. Okay, he just looked nervous.
Next time I lose an argument, I'm gonna just wander away and face the corner. I think I'm just gonna like look in the corner.
If you faint, you actually have to fall off of the camera.
Faint, I could swoon.
Danica made a king swoon in court today.
I'm making a note of that in my Danica notes.
You can also piss yourself. That's another thing you can do in response to a
He
failed
quietly did that. He can't get up.
failed field test.
You'll be the new emperor, I'm sure. He's just sitting there like.
He's like, take me away on my little chaise.
Holding his shield here, just like. So after this is all kind of worked out, which and people kind of disperse, and some people do, and while some of the details are being worked out, by the way, Belkus is the guy that showed up with Zune.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember I said there was a robed guy teleported you to?
Oh yeah, he was like the wizard. Oh yeah, the wizard guy. That was Belkus? Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. He showed up as part of Lorentz entourage here.
So that was like a cross-country strike force thing. Fascinating.
So afterwards, Belkus comes up. Come up to the two of you, and
Ooh.
oh yeah, oh wow,
Oh, look
there's
at
even
that.
more.
Amazing
Excellent.
detail on the clothes.
We are looking at the art for King Laurent. That is excellent.
That's who you made pass out.
Yeah, that's
She's like, not that intimidating, are you, with
yeah.
your pretty little? I didn't protect you, did it? From my words.
Making kings cry.
So Belkus comes over to the two of you, and I mean his mood's completely changed. This was this was a tough negotiation, and so I mean this is just another day at court.
We're just gonna get drinks afterward, like.
Yeah, he comes over and kind of a knowing nod at you, but he's not gonna say any. He's not gonna blow your cover, but.
Good to see you, Belkus.
Consul Yukos, I'm. In spite of our disagreements, I'm quite impressed with this plan. It could work.
Well, it has to, or else.
Yeah, there was no chance we weren't going to go along with it.
Yeah. No.
It will work.
Consul, okay.
No.
Can I have a word? Somebody would like to meet you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it just because he's so pretty, or is it for other things?
Can it be both?
Have fun. Like, wander off. You said he was drop dead gorgeous. I'm going to comment on it.
Yeah. Just saying.
Like Danica wanders off, and she's like, in this moment, just kind of like making strategic circles around the room to try to get like near the king to see how many times he like flinches. She like gets near.
You can indulge your fantasies there. He takes you over to the damn it! So nobody's been able to think of the name of the thing.
The little thing that has the curtain that someone's behind that you carry.
Yeah.
It's got people that carry it.
Yeah.
I'll remember the word for it as I walk out.
Palatine.
Palanquin.
Palanquin?
Palatine
What
was
is
the
a
emperor in Star Wars.
Palpatine.
Palpatine. A palanquin, I think.
Palanquin. That sounds right.
And people,
Not a pangolin.
people would chatter like, "You stupid idiots!" This is what it's like to be a streamer, guys. This is like you say stupid things, you get stuck. You're
Can't
like,
remember
what,
a word
what
that
the
you
hell?
knew.
Yeah. I think a palanquin. That's what I'm going to go with.
That sounds right.
Yeah. If not, there's a thing like In Chaldea, it's called a palanquin. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's how
Make a
this
new
works. That's how
word.
canon
Yeah,
works.
that's how
Here.
canon works. That's how canon gets developed. So it takes you over and to the palanquin, and draw the curtain.
Yeah.
Leanne is inside.
My eyes.
By the way, if they were going to lose, I was going to pull that out earlier, but since they won.
I, without hesitation, reach my hand in for hers.
Yeah, she goes to. She looks like a little confused, and then touches your hand.
Are you okay?
Yes. Come see me.
Where?
At the fortress, at our fortress.
Do I know where this fort is?
You know that they came in and constructed
Oh,
it.
so they're actually. Oh, they're actually with them there. This is okay.
Yeah.
That makes yes, absolutely. Okay, I'm on board.
Yeah. Come see me.
I will.
All right. Okay. And closes the curtain, and they leave.
Definitely kind of walk back a little, maybe betraying a little bit. Like his face is a little more shooken up than he.
Steve says palanquin.
Palanquin. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah. Isn't that what I said?
That's what
I'm
you
pretty
said.
sure that's what I said.
Tomato.
Yeah, palanquin. Yeah. Thank you, Steve. Okay, palanquin. Okay, so we leave that there. So you want to go see her later?
Yes, 100%.
I mean, you're really busy. You sure you're going to make time?
Yeah, I'm gonna make time to see the future emperor of this wonderful empire. Of course.
Yeah, Belkus, he kind of winks at you. He's kind of, yeah.
Wizards.
Yeah.
Wizards.
So, okay, so maybe that evening. Well, Belkus actually says, yes, why don't you call upon us at, 9 o'clock. 9
And that's
p.m.
what I do.
9 p.m. tonight. Yeah.
I go back to my space, get prepared,
Yeah.
and then head over.
Oh, yeah, you could squeeze in another 3 meetings
Yeah,
before.
definitely got to do some more work before then. A couple more duels of wits beforehand.
Okay, so when you arrive at the fortress that they instantly built in the backyard of Celestia, and there's guards around. The whole thing just kind of shimmers with magic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the shimmering. The Perts, which people apparently are called Perts, the Perts have a thing for things that glow.
Okay.
Their capital city is called the City of Gleam. And they, the white glistening towers, all this sort of light. So this fortress is kind of a glistening tower.
Okay.
And the guards are out there in their beautiful glistening armor, kind of like Excalibur style, And Gree, who's Amian, but an ally, he greets you at the front door.
Hello.
I don't think we've met personally, but it's delightful to meet you. Oh, delightful to meet you. I can't do a French accent to save my soul.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
Oh,
Wish we met under better circumstances.
I think these are great circumstances.
The fall of the empire is not usually what I would call great circumstances.
It's opportunity, my friend. Opportunity.
Like the way you think.
I think there's going to be many great opportunities for those willing to seize them. Come. A friend of yours is waiting.
I nod and follow.
All right, so he takes you into this castle, beautiful, shining castle, glowing castle, and go through a couple corridors and into a nice, through a hall and into a chamber that is like a very nice sitting room. And Princess Leanne is sitting on a chair there. And you come in.
How have you been?
I'm good. It's great to see you.
It's great to see you too.
She like stands up.
Yeah. I walk over, grab her hands, and just go down to one knee, just a little kneel.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. Please, you can rise.
What's happened?
These are my allies. You saved me from death.
Do we know who was after you?
I'm sure it was Tihomir
Tiamir.
removing the competition. Of course, he wants to be the next emperor. To be the next emperor, he has to remove the competition.
And you should be the next emperor.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you.
I hope that we are hoping that you might advocate for us in the Senate.
For you?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. You have my heart and soul, yes.
Excellent. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so happy you're all right.
Me too. I am also happy to be all right. I'm glad that thanks to you, I escaped from that certain death. I will never forget that.
Good.
We need a friend on the council. We need to find out who is supportive of Tihomir as emperor, and who is not. Who are our allies on the council? Obviously, Karas is our ally. We can count on him. So Karas is, he hasn't been in a script yet, so you as Marcus wouldn't have known, but your character would certainly know who Karas is. He is the consul of the Great Sea, and he's a Pert. He's from Perrin.
Okay.
So he is actually a duke. In his title in Perrin is that he's a duke, and he and Perrin is considered a very powerful naval kingdom in Chaldea,
Which has made sense why they threatened us a little bit.
Yeah. And it kind of going along with the Britain theme.
Yeah.
British inspired. So that makes sense to you. So you can count on Karas as an ally, and we need to recruit more allies, but not just in the council, but also in the Senate. We work on that, but since we are not allowed in the Council of Consuls meetings, we don't have standing in the Council of Consuls, we hope that you will do what you can to help us determine who we can count on. All the councils are, the consuls carry more weight than a typical senator.
I will do this. You have my word. I'll find our allies, I'll consolidate our power, and I'll report back to you everything I find.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
How did you come to be with them? Who is your mysterious savior?
You were.
You know what I mean. There was a woman.
Oh, Yes. Tasia.
Tasia, that's what it is. I was trying to find it.
Yeah. I don't really know who Tasia is other than an immortal friend of the late Emperor, friend of my father. And she brought me to the city of Gleam.
If you trust them, I trust you. If you trust me, I'll do this.
I trust you. I need friends.
Consider it done.
Okay. Well, we can cut that. Yeah, scene. Yeah, you kind of. I think there's part of you that wish she would have hugged you like you did. Last
there's
time.
definitely
would have been a little bit more intimate with you.
Yeah.
Not intimate, but
know what I mean.
just a little bit more touchy.
Yeah.
And she
Something's
wasn't.
a little,
She wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Okay. So, Donica. Well, first of all, I have. Did you have something that you would like to be proactive about? If you.
Yes, there
Okay.
is something I want to be proactive about.
Okay.
Because basically, I'm looking into like Tiamir in general. I'll just kind of get like his vibes on like where he's standing. What are the things he cares about right now? We know he's vying to be the next emperor because he's at the stand-in right now. Basically, but I want to influence him to, not put more dwarves on the Economic Council where I have to deal with them. So I'm basically
right.
the proactive thing that I already rolled,
Yeah.
started to get the ball rolling on is let's find out what he cares about so that I can influence him, so I can influence him to not have dwarves on there. So I'd like to keep moving that forward.
Do you want to go? Do you have an idea of how you'd like to approach her, or do you just want to go talk to him?
I've already got some people on it, so they're looking into the who are the other candidates. So I have them like looking into that. I would like to go talk to him to just kind of like read the room a little bit on like what is your temperature on the dwarves just electing somebody new, just to see if he's like I don't care one way or the other. I could be persuaded, or if he's like no, like absolutely, it needs to be that way. I just want to get his temperature check, basically.
Okay. So, to see Tiamir, it's going to be a circles test.
Okay.
So you have a circles, I think we established earlier, 4.
Yep.
And he's in your station. You don't have to, you're not going to get the right now, right here penalty that you did with Anton. You basically any time during the week that he's free to see you, I assume is good for you, or you have flexibility on your schedule. Yeah, I think I'm just going to say that's an ob2.
Okay.
Okay, to get in to see him, and if it's if you fail the roll, the penalty for failure here is that he's basically dodging you because for whatever reason.
Just no, I don't want a conversation about this. I have other things.
He has an idea, right or wrong, of what it is you want to talk about. He maybe this, maybe he thinks it's something else.
I don't want to talk about economic theory, which is fair. Fair.
Yeah, thinks that maybe you should stay focused on the task at hand. So, okay, circles test. It's you have 4 dice. It's an ob2.
Okay. All right, just 4. All right.
I think so. That's your circles test, right?
All right,
Circles
let's see what
skill.
happens. I've got just 1 success with a 6. I mean, I could explode it. Seems a little silly, but
Yeah, no, it gives you a 50% chance of succeeding if you
good. Why not? Let's do 1 more. Yeah.
that
2.
turned failure into success.
Do it.
Okay, so he's at the Sunshine Citadel, which is his palace. It's, up on the hill. It's a pretty nice place. You have an appointment. You go there. There is, when you go there, there are, there's a lot of people there that want to see him, right? Yeah, and it's like he's holding court. He is the ruler of Bruges.
Yes.
So he has a kingdom to run and an empire to run, and the Grand Prince of Bruges is his title, in addition to his consul title. And so yeah, you're escorted, you're greeted, you're taken care of. You have to wait a while. Very inefficient. Chomping at the bit to get back to work. And then you're escorted in to see him. And so he clears the room for you. Not quite sure. Now I can do a Stefano accent.
You follow your bliss.
I can do a Stefan Picorni accent. Oh, Consul Yukos, welcome. I hear you had a challenging meeting with the Perts and the Amiens.
Oh, you know what it is. They always are back to back with one another, and then we're negotiating from a back foot because, we lost all the money. So it's a little embarrassing, but it's okay. We managed to get some pretty good concessions from them. We still had to cough up a bit in tax law, but I'll close it up eventually.
They came to see me as well. I think they seem to be lobbying to become the next emperor, either Laurent or somebody.
Yeah, they did loudly declare that at one point, which, Laurent, I don't know, he seemed a little nervy. I don't want to take up too much of your time because obviously it is a premium right now, but there's something I'm working on the economic side of things, and I need to know where you stand on it before I start leaning too much political weight into it.
Okay.
I am not happy with how things went down with the dwarves and how they've handled losing the gold, and then how they've handled things afterward. There's an opening for the head of the banking system right now, and I am curious how high your confidence is in letting them just roll someone in from their side of things.
Yeah, it's that's a very good question. How do you're clearly thinking that maybe it's time for a change in perspective.
Everything is changing, so I figure we might as well actually build things from the ground up and create a system that is a little bit more resistant to implosion than the one that we've had now. So I think that the dwarves were part of that weakness, and I would like to correct that weakness and fix that going forward. Again, it's not anything against them particularly, just that they've always done things a particular way, and I feel like they don't have the flexibility to deal with what we need to do in the future. I might bring some candidates to the table. Obviously, if I can't find anybody who's better than the candidates they lean forward.
Consul Yukos, what you need to do is you need to get the other consuls who have sway in the realm of money, like Consul Sweef,
Yes, all of my friends.
Consul Loritz. Obviously, Consul Gildzon will support another dwarf and assume that will be the case. You're not going to persuade him. But get the other economically minded consuls to unite around a candidate that the body could, that the council could support.
I'm very confident.
That would be very compelling if you could do this.
Okay, thank you. It's very helpful. I've got at least 2, I think, in my back pocket. There is a wild card, though.
Well, that's great. If we're talking about the bank, can't be somebody too, crazy. The good thing about Garl is that he was true to his clan name of Steadfast. He was a steady guy, and you may not. We may all be a little upset at the dwarves, but we do need to show respect to his clan for his death. They called his reputation the banker's banker. You won't find a dwarf in Chaldea that didn't look up to him.
It's true. I promise to be nice.
Kind of taps you.
It's like really, it's like a big concession from Danica.
Thank you. It's this is, but yeah, I think that we have to cast this as not as a reaction to the loss of the gold, although of course it's to some extent a reaction to the loss of gold. We have to present this as an opportunity for someone new to be on the council. The dwarves don't have to lose their, they still have a bank. It just doesn't have any money in it.
Yes, that's rather.
Oh, it's so sad. I shouldn't be laughing, but just the irony of having a bank with no money.
Money is power, and they don't have any right now. Which there's probably someone else that we could cash that in with. So
when you I want to show you something. He takes you over to a balcony that overlooks the city, and he points to the Imperial Palace and the Hutuaret of Set and the Ministry of Justice and the Hall of the Ambassadors, the Senate Discourse. Do you know who owns these buildings?
I mean, I assume I do.
You might not, but yeah, you probably do. Given the dwarves own a lot of the buildings and land that's here.
So even as not an institution necessarily, they're still an institution.
They have considerable resources in spite of the loss of the bank. The influence of the dwarves, their wealth is great. It's great enough that the Emperor put 2 of them on the console, but no elves.
That is interesting.
So we must walk carefully. But I am sympathetic to it would be an appropriate response to their mistake for them to lose a little political influence.
Entirely punitive. It is also because consolidation of power in this moment seems like it will be very important for the empire in general. This new empire that we are building. I would like to have a little bit more power on the economic side under us. It would make me feel better.
Consul Yukos, I have the utmost respect for you and confidence in your ability, and I hope that you will support me in Senate to be the next emperor.
Okay, all right. I will keep that in mind. I can't imagine what candidates are going to come forward that will present more stability than yourself, quite frankly. It's a mess out there.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Will not be forgotten.
Appreciate it. Well, again, I won't take up too much of your time. I want you go working on these things. I have lots of fires to put out.
Yes, I'm sure you're very busy. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Great.
I'm just gonna jet off, and basically her new goal is like make sure that Anton and Swift are on my side, and also try to get. I think it sounds like it's Ollie and anybody else for economics.
There's 6 consuls, but 4 of them that aren't dwarves that are economics. Yes, it's the 2 of you and Tomas Swift and Anton Loritz.
Okay.
And you have relationships with both of them.
So actually, it's Ollie that I have to be like, hey, hey, what's up?
I have something that I'm going to put across your path in a minute, but I'm going back to Marcus for a moment. Do you have something that you would like to proactively pursue? Is there something that's come up that you would like to, I really want to go do this thing?
No. Right now, I'm kind of like sorting through the admin of like I'm like looking who I'm going to go after after speaking to Leanne. So I'm kind of sorting through that right now. So if you have an idea, I would love to take it. But
Well, you do have a belief about about improving the exchange rate for the summation Mina to the Imperial Gold Sovereign. And this is an issue that you would have to clear with, this is something that you feel like the responsibility here of affecting exchange rate is probably primarily a responsibility of the central bank. But with Garl dead and there no actual imperial consul, there's just an acting person.
which is
Beulah, the
Beulah.
dwarven woman that was a former lover of his. You think that probably the person that you have to convince is Thomas. And you also had so you could go talk to him about that. If you wanted to, you could broach that topic, see how he reacts. Or do you want me to come back to you? Do you want to think about that a
would you
second?
go just give me a quick second, please?
Yeah,
Sorry about
I'll
that.
come back to you. Okay, well, I don't know how quick it'll be. I'm going back to Ray.
I can go jet over to Anton and Thomas and I'm like, possibly I'm in a meeting with them as he walks up. Is that basically I'm talking about, okay, talked to Tiamir and want to float something by you, and then just start basically floating them the idea of like, I'm going to look into people.
Yeah, I could see that maybe you guys have,
Have a click. We straight up have a click. I don't know.
have a drink at the end of the day or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we're all talking economics here, so we're definitely still like on task in the group area or whatever. But this is me kind of being like, hey, I have my aides working on something. I'm not sold 100% on it or anything, but if we're moving forward with an entirely new system that you put together, one that is already ousting the dwarves from power, I figured we might as well just make it official. And we've lobbied to have somebody else be, I think it's head of the bank, right?
The
Because
consul of the central bank.
yes, basically. So I'm just like, again, if we can't find a better candidate and it doesn't make sense, willing to back off on it. But right now, we have a whole new system in place. I feel like a lot of people will feel better if there's a new head of bank in place to show new course of direction and also consolidation of power. That's,
So I think Anton and Thomas, they're both relationships of you. That's funny because they're
it's almost like I was like, my department.
they're friends. You, by the way, you know that the two of them do have a topic that they don't see eye to eye on. And by the way, just one thing you got to know about Anton. He clashes with your belief about, let's see, what was the term you used?
True believers?
Yeah.
I'll bet he does.
He worships Set.
Yeah, well, she's not like, again, when I say true believers, it's not said it is zealots of any belief system at all.
He's
it can be for a government.
He's pretty committed to Set. He's not a priest,
Okay.
but you know that, like when, in the last council meeting, you might remember from the script, when Farina said everybody stand up for the invocation, he was the first to jump out of his seat.
Yeah.
And he was played by
devoted.
Kyle Robinson, who came in and played him. He's a pretty stern guy, but you've gotten to know him real well, and you have a good relationship with him. But yeah, he, just so you know, that's.
I gotta be on the down.
But you guys are all like. I think the fact that you have a relationship with each of them has brought them a little bit closer together, and you all have this common academic. You all have this really. He's got a very sharp legal mind, and you're just really good at going out there and bringing in the money because you're scary as shit, intimidating.
Give me the money. What else?
Yeah, give me the money. Or I'll show up with Zune and steal it. No.
No, I literally.
No. You've probably. Have you told anybody about that? Have you told them?
No, I've not told anybody about that. I just like literally like got the money and then it was like, hey, look, Zune got all of this money for us, and you know I supported him or something. But
Zune doesn't.
wait, was he totally on the down low about that?
Hell yeah.
Okay, well then yeah, I never mentioned
Yeah,
it. I was just
yeah,
like, look,
yeah.
money, they paid.
Yeah, they
No
paid.
questions. Like,
Don't worry about it.
I literally just was all like, oh look, the backlog of taxes came forward in the mail.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not. No one.
I mean, your staff is like, what?
I'm just all like, don't worry about it. I'm just very good at my job. I sent a stern letter.
We know we're doing well when we get Joe laughing there, our tech guy, and he laughs. We know we're doing all right. Okay, so you also know that Thomas is, by the way, very friendly with the elves. Just FYI. So these guys are very different characters, but they have but they get along because it's as long as you guys keep the conversation about money and economics and all stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, so when you ask about this, thinking about it, yeah, I don't see either one of them as super in love with the dwarves. So, well,
Be like, do you have? I think it would naturally come up. Do you have candidates?
that's what we were going to ask you. That's what I would ask him.
Working on candidates right
Yeah.
now. Again, if we can't find someone better, the stability of the dwarves is a benefit in that they've been around for a long time. It's just that nobody views them as a good thing right now. And that could be bad in the short term. And we need to get through the short term to have a long term. So I'll work on that, try to bring someone forward. If you think of anything, let me know. But I just wanted to know that I could count on your vote, so to speak, on it. I have to talk to Ollie. I feel like I haven't talked to Ollie enough. Does he like to be called Ollie? Is it familiar that I call him Ollie?
He really does want people to call him Ollie.
I don't know what his full name is.
No, you guys know it's okay. It's his formal name. That's his formal name.
The fact that, like, in her mind, she's been calling him Ollie the whole time because it's more efficient.
Yeah. No, he actually does want to be called Ollie. So
right.
yeah.
Good, because I've been calling that in his face, and I didn't think that there was any.
Yeah, you should. He's always off to himself a little bit. You should why don't you see if you can get him to join us for drinks?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Our late night drinks, or midnight. You're probably
At
after
midnight
work
now,
drinks
it's
are probably at midnight
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
drinking into the
where
air.
is he?
I'm not entirely
Somebody
sure.
said they saw him going over to Celestia. He went and talked to who was the person in the palanquin?
I don't know. I didn't see. I just assumed it
Anton,
was.
because Anton says this. Tomas like, what are you talking about? Yeah, the Amiens and the Perch showed up. There was somebody in a palanquin. Never saw who it was.
Yeah, Felkus looked all smug about it, kind of, but like no really indication.
They never announced who the person was. Well,
No.
Anton says, yeah, I saw Oli went over and he said, okay, I mean, Oli went over and talked to the.
Trying to be nice.
Yeah. And then he went over there. That's what my spies say.
Interesting. Okay, I saw him wander off. I guess I
Yeah.
didn't assign anything to it. But.
Yeah, well, it's let's put the word out. Chop, all the peoples.
Everybody go sneak up on Ollie.
Yeah. There's one of Oli's scribes. I mean, like you said, you guys all have a staff, right? And
Yep.
so, like, one of the staff, go talk to the staff of Oli, get him to come join. So, do you get the word when you come back? Do you come join them? You get the.
I think I do.
So the staff person's
Yes.
like, hey, your cohorts, no. Consuls Yukos, Sweef, and Laritz would love for you to join them for their. It's a very elite thing. This is quite something that they've invited. This is a great opportunity for our department. The three of them have been like tight as thieves for. Not to imply anything. This is.
I famously got rid of all the thieves.
They've finally invited you to come join them for drinks. You should go.
Yes, I think I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. How'd it go with the?
I just can't look and just keep walking. Not a word.
Yeah. Okay. So, Okay, so let's frame forward to you showing up for drinks.
Sounds good.
The Anton and Thomas and Donica are there, and Anton's a very serious. He always looks pretty darn serious. Like you're kind of surprised that anybody really like hang out with this guy. He takes life pretty seriously. He's a lawyer.
I feel like it's like all the personality must be located somewhere else in this triad.
But so you see him actually. He's had a couple drinks and everybody says hi and welcome. Says so. Who was in the palanquin? You went over and talked to whoever it was. Who was? We're all dying to know who was in the palanquin. Here, have a drink.
You can't just rush right into the question. You have to like warm up to it, honestly.
Oh, is that what we're supposed to do? Because I'm the socially
For a
awkward.
politician, you're very bad at this.
I'm the socially awkward one. Tomas pours on the charm. Welcome, Oli. Have a seat. Well, maybe we should talk about something else. How do you feel about dwarves?
At the moment, I think I feel about as much as you do about them.
I'm probably the most sympathetic to the dwarves of anybody at the table. Maybe you mean as much as
I've made no secret.
Donica. You guys are all on a first name basis when you're like this.
think
When it's an
so.
informal setting.
When it's an informal setting.
I think Donica is
I may have loudly declared and yelled at people, so I think everyone knows.
I think most people know what Donica's thinking about a lot of things.
She wants them to, she is.
Especially the King of Perrin.
Oh, yeah. I think he did admirably well. I have had people actually cry.
So Tomas says to you, so you say you went and talked to Tihomir.
I
What
did.
what did he say? What did he say about the
He said,
dwarves and the position?
He said a few things. The first thing is that if we all show a united front on it and we think that it is the best move economically, he'll support our decision, whatever that decision will be. So it lies with all of us to decide who we want to be in that position. Again, I'm not against there being a dwarf there necessarily. I'm just saying that there's more opportunity in it not being one.
And by the way, reading the world, Tomas is probably considered the best politician in the council, next to perhaps Tihomir himself. So just say.
Yeah.
So Tomas immediately goes to that angle and says, well, if we want if we have the power, we can have a little alliance here on this topic. If we have the power to appoint the next consul of the central bank, yes, of course, it has to be somebody who looks good on paper, has the right resume, and also should be somebody who can give us what we want. What do we want? What does this disparate group? What could we all possibly agree on?
I mean, Danica's very straightforward. She's all like, I want somebody who's going to do the job properly and do what we say with this new system you're rolling out. That's what I want. What other things do you want? Because she knows you guys want things.
I would like to see short term, Sybil and Ariadne cleared of all charges.
Was Sybil cleared of all charges? I thought she was running around.
You want her cleared of all charges.
Yes, of course. They're innocent. Sybil and Ariadne were both in love with him. I mean,
For that matter, I want to see the same thing. I don't believe that they are responsible for his death.
yeah, they weren't. Sybil was sharing his bed. She ran and she was the first one to the throne room because she woke up and realized he wasn't there.
Yeah. I mean,
And
in terms of pure power, do we believe? I mean, if they were in a one-on-one fight, honestly.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, a one-on-one fight. I mean, it's nobody could. I don't. There's nobody in Chaldea that could stand up him on a one-on-one fight.
I will admit,
I don't.
among
I mean,
all of this,
except an elder dragon, maybe.
the pall of who actually killed him is the question that everybody is
Yeah.
We can't answer, and we won't be answered, but I don't love that it is unanswered, because that means there's something or someone extremely powerful, unaccounted for.
It is the question of our age.
But not my question, because I'm the economics person, so.
I would love to see an elf on the council.
We don't have one. And because there isn't one, they could throw a lot of power our way just to have an inn, to
Yes.
protect their inn.
I like this. It's a good line.
And also, it could be spun as a unity.
Yes.
Unity and consolidation of power. And then, additionally, again, the dwarves are in a bad spot. They were just gifted, again, from our emperor, 2 seats on the council just for good behavior, basically. Well, there's been quote unquote bad behavior. He's dead. I think it's perfectly fair that they lose one of their seats.
Fair to me. Might be a hard sell, but getting an elf on the council will be good right now.
Well, Anton's like, well, there's already 2 people from the church on the council. I could tell I would be overreaching, suggesting a third.
They have so much power already. Come on. They're doing quite well. You're doing well.
Yeah, well, yeah. Tomas says 2. 3, Anton, because I think I need to count you as part of that faction also. Pulsan, Farina, and you. It's like, I'm a religious man. That's true.
That's fine. Just do you like Farina? Just like as a person. I get that she's like super powerful, but like, and very competent, but like as a person. Is she any fun? She's
all he does, like, kind of subtly lean in because he's interested in this. He doesn't want to admit that he's very interested in this, but has had thoughts.
She seems pretty stern.
You think she's stern. Well, that says something.
But I have faith. Set would not allow her to continue in her position if he was disappointed in her performance. So I have to trust in that.
Understood. So if Holson fell out of power, it's because Set doesn't like him.
Tomaka rolls his eyes.
You guys see like the dynamics here in this group. Okay. All right. So we're thinking an elf for
Elf on the council. We can agree with that.
Yes.
All right. I'm not sure I'm guessing there might be some differences of opinion of who the next emperor should be.
I mean, yes.
Pretty
For me.
straightforward for me.
Who do you want to be the next emperor, empress? There are so many candidates.
I think it falls within the bloodline.
Makes sense. And then others feel different. I want whoever is going to provide the most stability for, again, this economic machine that must roll forward. Whoever that is, great. Obviously, Tamir's been around for a while. We're also pitching to him to make sure that this whole economic thing goes the way that we want. So, if we do want all of this to roll forward, again, I'm seated right now tentatively with Tirmir, and that he's driving forward the stuff that we need, and he's a face of stability in the short term. But I have no idea how long this political shuffling is going to go for who's going to be the eventual leader.
Tomas says, I'm thinking Otani.
Yeah?
Tawny.
Just kidding.
Okay, all right.
Take a drink.
Thought maybe you'd had a few.
Okay, well, this is, maybe this is not the thing that we will agree upon, but if we can agree upon a proper elf candidate,
Yes.
what do you think of Lenora?
Nora.
Lenora. So, Sarah's character? Yeah.
What do we know about Lenora? Does she look good on paper?
Was she one of the ones caught singing with the rest of the elves when the emperor was killed?
All the elves were singing, so, I mean, that's an issue.
Paint them all with them.
I don't think that, here's what I think. I think we need to tell Tihomir that let's drag this out a bit. Tell him that we're taking it very seriously. We're going to look for candidates. But we've got to wait until this thing with the elves gets resolved. Right now, the elves are in Amandella's line of fire.
Yes.
She's got, and you know Amandella, I think we're all a little scared of Amandella. So So, or should be.
No accounting for intelligence.
I mean, if the elves somehow killed the emperor, this is Thomas talking.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I can't believe it. There's no way the elves didn't, but there is a great mystery here, and until this mystery is solved, no one's going to. It's going to be very unpopular to try and put an elf on the council. Mm-hmm. So let's just drag out the process. Let's start creating a list, and of candidates, and we'll and say we want to talk to them. We'll just create a process and let this linger for a while, and use this, and knowing that this process is going on. Tihomir, I'm sure Tihomir would love to just leave the position vacant for as long as possible, because that's one less person that could possibly oppose him on something.
It's true. So it helps him politically in the short term, and it helps us try to figure things out, give the elves enough time to unscrew their situation so that we could put one of them in the seat.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like this.
Good plan.
Okay. I think I'm kind of starting to feel like we can wrap up, unless you've come up with something that you would like to
No, I think
respond
I'm good.
to.
I think I'm good right now.
Okay.
I'm just taking notes on who's talking about Tihomir, what they're saying.
All right. I do want to establish something before we go that maybe it'll come up later. You have a relationship with a guy named Dario.
That's right.
He is a priest of
Yeah. Volo, I think.
Volos, who you worship,
Yeah.
right?
Quietly.
Now, as a relationship, you have the ability to access him, because it is quietly, because it is an illegal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an illegal.
She's very much like, yeah, everybody's gods.
Yeah. But you are religious, right? To Volos, right?
Yeah.
In secret, you worship him,
Yes.
right? Correct me if I'm off on the wrong path here. So, as a relationship, you have the ability to see him when you want. So, but since he's like an illegal sort of character in a way, like the Sethites would call him a heretic,
Yep.
or an iconoclast, something. I thought I wanted to kind of set out how you contact each other, if you want to. So, there is the University of Saratof, and universities, academia, often hotbeds of rebellion and critical thinking and illicit, anti-establishment behaviors. The University of Saratof is no exception. When you want to visit, when you want to reach out to Dario for some reason, you go there to the university. This is how you do it, and you visit a professor, Theodara. Theodara is a professor of economics at the University of Saratof. So you always have something. It's really easy to go and pretend to have an important conversation, like to go there and ask some sort of academic question about economics. And but your visit is a signal somehow to Dario that you want to talk to him. If he wants to talk to you, then in your travels about the city. And by the way, the city has gotten a little safer. The Legion has managed to gain control of, kind of put down the riots a bit and get control of most of the major roads and thoroughfares. Forge Park is still a disaster, but other than that. And some of the country, there was, you might have remember that Farina made a comment about the Gulag. There was a breakout at the Gulag. Anyway, so as you go from A to B about the city, and if you see a person kind of go cross your path, calling out as a seller of incense, that is a signal to you that Dario wants to see you.
Ooh.
Okay.
And that happens.
Excellent.
And the typical thing would be that you would go to this professor's office at lunchtime the next day.
Though I will say, like,
But you're also really, really,
I'm really
busy
busy right now. I don't think. I mean, I'm religious, but again, there's that whole true believer thing that I don't. So I'm not that religious. So right now,
it is great when you put your beliefs in conflict with each other. By the
Yes,
way, that's
yes,
that's
that
really
is
good.
true.
I
That
mean,
is
you can do what you want to, but I feel obliged to kind of like.
it might not happen like
maybe
the
you
same day.
I mean, are you sure you're not real religious? I mean, like, I mean, it's pretty common to have, inconsistent beliefs.
It's true.
like to.
It's like I don't believe in true believers when it comes to the sense of like, okay, and then they're going to like do awful stuff systematically about it, or I'm kind of like, I really believe that you should do stuff personally and like follow those like tenets. So I think like personally quite religious,
Yeah.
but wouldn't
Yeah.
institutionalize my stuff.
I think that makes sense, right? Because you've seen what the Church of Set has
Yeah, I'm like,
done.
that sucks.
Yeah, the fact that the Church of Set has outlawed the religion of Volos is perhaps what has fed this disdain
believer.
for people who abuse their beliefs in such a way. Yeah.
So yeah, I think I will make time to go and do it, but I probably won't be like at the height of everybody freaking out. It'll probably be when things have settled. Because I mean, he went off for like 5 minutes and was like, "Where did he go?" So I'm not.
Very suspicious, yeah.
Okay, so you don't go the next day. That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah,
I'll delay, but I will
He
go.
wanted to meet with you, but
And try
he's
and
not
meet
your
with him.
he's not your boss. He's not.
He knows who the kind of person I am.
I think that's great. Okay, that settles that question. Well, if you're comfortable wrapping up now, we'll go into our beliefs and situation here, and our ARDA awards for the session. Let's see here. And I have where'd I put it? I have an ARDA awards handout.
Cheat sheet?
Yeah, my cheat sheet. I made it for you, but I need it for myself too. Here it is.
Yes, I made it for you.
ARDA and burning. Well, because I'm not playing standard rule, I've changed the rules a bit for how ARDA works in the game. Okay, so let us review. We'll always start by reviewing beliefs and whether you got a chance to resolve or work on any of the beliefs. I
did.
I think, starting with you, Ray, I think that you worked on the belief about true zealots because you did bring up Farina in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That was certainly sort of doing a little bit of research, if you will, on people's feelings about her. So that's worth a fate.
Okay. One fate.
You worked on Tihomir convincing of Tihomir that someone else should be the consul of the central bank. You haven't done that. You haven't resolved it because he hasn't gone on, but he gave you a path to do that. So you definitely got a fate for that.
Mm-hmm.
And preventing the economic collapse of the industry. You definitely worked on that really hard. I'm going to say
Super hard.
yeah, super hard. It was the focus. I'm going to say this. That 1 week, is not enough. I mean, like there's
Yeah.
more that has to happen.
Oh, yeah.
This thing's gonna.
I assume resolving that
come out.
one might be even more checks than usual.
Also maybe result in a new emperor before
Yeah.
then, too.
Me trying to like get my subquest done means that like I'm electing a new emperor.
Yeah, and I think that I'm gonna plant the seed. But if I forget later, no, never mind.
So I moved 3 things forward, so it's 3 fate, right?
3 fate. Yeah.
Great, because I
yeah.
burned 3 fate in this session.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Oh.
Yes,
Yeah.
which I like.
She is really tall. Yeah. So, yes, Leanne, for anybody watching at home, Leanne is the daughter of Cordava. Cordava had various children, but Leanne was the only child that he recognized publicly. Not that he denied the other ones existed, but like gave her a title of a title in his family. So she's the only person that has a royal title, an imperial title. And Leanne's and Cordava, it was half Germanic and half Arab. And Leanne was the daughter of Cordava and Tiniel, who is not Tinel, Tiniel, who is a genie, who's also, of course, of Middle Eastern culture. So Leanne is definitely has a very Middle Eastern look to her, and she's very tall because genies in Chaldea are very, very tall. They're like 8 feet tall. Yeah, so she's probably the tallest person in the room if everybody's room is human.
Yeah. Okay.
Or dwarf or halfling or hobbit. Yeah, right. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so let's see. So Leanne on the throne, you definitely worked on that a little bit. I mean, the extent you could, you went and talked to Leanne. So you didn't, yeah, so that's good. You get a fate for that. You get a fate for working on preventing the economic collapse of the empire.
I need to spend these fates.
But I don't think you talked.
No.
You worked on the exchange rate thing.
No, I did not.
Okay.
That's like a fun group project.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have an instinct, you also get a fate if you use an instinct or a trait to create a complication for yourself, or send the story in a different direction.
Did not.
I don't remember that happening.
I wanted to, but I did not.
Okay. So the next thing is a persona. You get to award each other a persona, and but explain why you're awarding it. Typical things could be great role playing, great humor, in-game humor.
I would like to reward a persona for not only making a king turn into a puddle of a person for a brief moment, but for like literally carrying the roles of that one. Like I immediately failed my role, and you had to knock 2 out. So fantastic work.
Yeah, that was great. I was going to say that I'm awarding embodiment to you because like the whole I was all like, oh, what's going on with Ollie? And then his like meeting with Leanne, I was like, oh, that's what's going. Okay, understood. And I felt like that was just like came across really well in your role play. So.
I agree. I thought that was good. I also get to award a persona, and I'm going to award it to Donica for embodiment in the your ability to ad lib on the spot, make up things like problems with the militia. Okay, sure, I'll let that. It is so funny because there actually is a story in Perrin about problems with.
Like you guys seem like you'll probably if you're like braced on the French and the British, you got problems.
I think that was just very clever role playing on your part. So you get a persona for that. Excellent. Let's see. This is episode 509, isn't it? Yeah.
It's wild. This is like the 3rd time that I've played.
Yeah. Well, it's a. I mean, I don't want to get to the end of the story too fast, right?
No,
I gotta drag it out, man. You know, we're all young. We're gonna be doing this for years. Yeah, you gotta keep up, Joe. You gotta keep up. Stay healthy. That takes care. You know, there is we talked about fate and persona are the art that we've been dealing with. I want you to be aware that there's a 3rd type of arta called a deed, which is something that's granted very rarely. That is sort of a larger than life sort of thing. And I would say that saving the collapse, avoiding the collapse of the economy will probably qualify for that. So, stay working on that.
That goal.
Yeah, and I think what we'll do next time, I think, by the way, next cluster, I'm going to keep you two together
that's
if you're okay with that,
That'd be
because
good.
you have a
The
common.
economic team.
Let's do
Let's
it.
go. Team taxi.
Yeah. I want to wear my money jacket next time.
Right, we just
Yeah.
like show up with like money glasses.
Yeah, you have a common purpose, so I think it makes
Yeah.
a lot of
Oh,
sense to put you together. And what we'll do, help me remember next time we play, is that there'll be another thing that has to do with the economy, but the economy, preventing the economic collapse of the empire is like a big overarching goal. We can set intermediate goals that as we go along, so that you have the opportunity to earn persona along the way.
Like that my heroic quest is save the economy.
But like the entire economy.
The whole economy. I have to save the whole economy. Like, this stinks. Literally my job, but.
I'm going to award both of you a let me look at a character sheet. Let's see. I just need look. I'm suddenly
I'll hand you every
struggling
paper on the
over
What can I give you?
terminology. I'm going to award both of you a difficult steel test for the encounter with the royalty from Perrin and Emil.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, so the way you do that is that you'll, cross out the difficult, the middle.
difficult.
Yeah. And
Right
Yeah,
here.
more. We have to-
I can't see what your hand. Yeah, the middle row here. Difficult.
Okay.
Yeah, the first dot. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
And did you get circles tests? You did 2 circles tests.
Oh, I did do a
think.
circles test. Yeah.
And they were, I think one was ob. I think we were both ob
Ob 2.
2.
Yeah.
And you rolled 4 dice. So.
I did beat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got 4 dice versus an op 2 is routine test. So you got 2 routine tests on circles.
All right. Nice.
This was a working meeting. We got a lot done. Danica like, yes, day at the job in the office. It's
Question: What was the drink that Danica got after that long shift? If I may
Oh,
ask.
it was definite. Like there was wine that I was having, and then once I was like away from the rest of you guys, shots. Just vodka.
Yeah, aquavite.
She comes from the Russian place, so she's like, I can.
Vodka, yeah.
It's like my steel isn't great except when it comes to drinking.
Okay, one last time, if you'd like to reintroduce yourselves and promote if you have any projects you'd like to promote, anything you'd like to plug, this is your opportunity to do so.
Like, again, I am Ray, and I was playing Danica tonight. I don't have any personal projects, but y'all should come back and watch me on Graver's Dig every once in a while. And my friends who are there all the time.
That's right. That's an Actoroke here. It's the show that's opposite this one, 6 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday evenings.
Yeah. My name is Marcus. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at bestkindawworst. You can also check me out I believe this Friday on Sarah's Table, as well as check out our wonderful show at 2 p.m. every single Friday, Table Takes, which I produce, starring Peter. We'll be there this week, but you can check them out. Check out the VODs on Twitter or on YouTube and Twitch. I am so happy to be here.
Thank you. All right, yes, Gen Comic TV, we have lots of shows. We have, Marcus mentioned, on Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific time, we have Table Takes. At 5 p.m. Pacific time, we have Sarah's Table, which is like really awesome, cool, funny, small press RPGs tend to be her jam. A lot lighter and funnier than we are. We're all
There's a lot
serious.
less economic theory.
Yeah, a lot less economic.
There was a
theory.
dragon egg last time. Like a dragon egg baby.
Yeah, see, that's so delightful.
Very chill.
On Mondays at 9 a.m. Pacific, I play Peter vs. Machine, so you might hang out with me and chat while I play. Right now I'm playing Sid Meier's Civilization. I play strategy games, but it's really an excuse to play Civ, so that's what I do.
Don't blame you.
Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific is Dress to Quest as an RPG game that's very much into the costuming and excellent stuff. Tuesday at 7 p.m. is Indie by Night. Follow Vampires in Indianapolis. Hey, that's on brand for us. We love that. And Wednesday night, 4 p.m. Pacific is Path of the Brush. At 6 p.m. is us. Thursdays, 10 a.m. is Blood on the Clock Tower. If you think werewolf is cool, like this is like werewolf on steroids. It is amazing. 4 p.m. is Roll with Rem Alternus. She is like quite the influencer in the world of Shadowrun, and lots of Shadowrun type goodness happens there. Our website, by the way, if you like the World of Chaldea and want to know more about it, www.worldofchaldea.com is our website. And all sorts of Chaldea lore that can be found there. Probably some spoilers if you dig hard enough. Also, our socials, #World of Chaldea. That's it. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you coming by and stopping in to see what we're doing, and I will be back in 2 weeks to continue this campaign where I will have as my players Lexi the First and Bonsai Baby and
It's a wild too,
shoot.
already character-wise. Character-wise, that's going to be a wild episode.
Oh my god, and Megan Karami Nasser. So 3 characters that I think are not quite as united in purpose as these two.
It's like we're vibing. They're gonna fight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't know who I paired Lexi up with. I mean, that's. I don't think anybody has the same purpose as her Priestess of Set. But all 3 of these players are amazing role players and a lot of fun. I can't wait to play with them. All right, thank you everybody. Good night, and have a pleasant time.